Chapter 505. The Scarlet Moon Patriarch is like this sovereign. He's already awakened, and even earlier. Zhao Feng only half believed the skeletal division leader's words, and his heart shook. Could it be that the era of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion had arrived, and the continent would fall into chaos? Patriarch has successfully obtained the Scarlet Moon inheritance, and the demonic religion will quickly recover. More forces will attack the Azure Flower continent. This isn't a secret to the upper echelons of the Sacred Alliance. The skeletal division leader said confidently. Zhao Feng snickered coldly and used his god's spiritual eye to activate the Dark Heart Seed. The skeletal division leader instantly felt as if its soul was about to crumble. The aura of death made it tremble and not dare to act rashly. The Scarlet Moon demonic religion is a headache for the upper echelons of the Sacred Alliance. We just need to guard our territory. Patriarch Hong calmed down and said in a low tone. Tiamat nodded his head in agreement. The Iron Blood religion only needed to be in charge of the Canopy Great Country. Zhao Feng was also calm. Being the chapter leader of the Iron Blood religion, he only needed to be in charge of the Thousand Water chapter. On the other hand, the entire Cloud area, the 2 strong countries, and the 13 countries were all controlled by Zhao Feng. However, Patriarch Hong's next words almost made Zhao Feng stumble. Zhao Feng, in order to thank you, I've made 2 decisions. The first is to make you the Deputy Patriarch of the Iron Blood religion. Deputy Patriarch of the Iron Blood religion. Zhao Feng's heart jumped. He didn't know if he was surprised or happy, or maybe even a bit worried. The Iron Blood religion was a powerful force in Canopy Great Country. They used their Iron Blood methods to sweep through everything. To be able to become the Deputy Patriarch of the religion, it was a legendary existence that could only be looked up to by the billions of beings in the Great Country. Before Zhao Feng could reply, Tiamat smiled brightly. Congratulations. Patriarch Zhao. Sect Master Hong was a venerable of the Primal Core realm, as well as the leader of a sect. His words carried enormous weight. Although Zhao Feng felt it was sudden, he didn't have a reason to reject. Becoming a deputy patriarch would increase one's status and power, and it would help Zhao Feng's cultivation. Furthermore, this was Patriarch Hong's goodwill, so Zhao Feng couldn't reject it. Thank you, Patriarch Hong. Zhao Feng didn't feel too happy or worried. A weird light flashed in Patriarch Hong's eyes. From the looks of it, the position of Deputy Patriarch wasn't very attractive to Zhao Feng. He had promoted Zhao Feng primarily out of his appreciation and gratitude toward Zhao Feng. Of course, he also had to admit that he was trying to rope Zhao Feng in. Patriarch Hong, your second decision, could it be? Patriarch Hong, your second decision. Tiamat Tian, Tiamat Hong. Zhao Feng instantly became focused. Patriarch Hong was a sovereign at the Origin Core realm and a member of the Sacred Alliance. His power wasn't just normal. Back then, Patriarch Hong had given him these 2 items, and they had changed Zhao Feng's fate. Zhao Feng faintly sensed that the meaning behind this second decision might not be simple. I plan to go to the Sacred Alliance and help you obtain a special spot. That's a chance to step onto the true stage of the world. The smile on Patriarch Hong's face became wider. A chance to step onto the true stage of the world. Zhao Feng's heart moved, but he was slightly confused. Patriarch Hong, could it be that you want him to enter the Sacred Alliance? Tiamat's expression changed slightly. Zhao Feng couldn't help but be surprised. From the conversation between the 2, it wasn't hard to see that this chance wasn't ordinary. Please advise me, Patriarch. Zhao Feng couldn't help but be curious. Patriarch Hong smiled and said, Zhao Feng, you've been to the inheritances outside the region, so you should know that the Azure Flower continent isn't a true continent. The world we're in is a limitless ocean. The Azure Flower continent is also known as the Azure Flower continent, but it's actually a small island in the limitless ocean. I know. Zhao Feng nodded his head and wasn't surprised. In the Purple Saint ruins, he had interacted with the disciples of the Pure Moon spiritual sect. There was a legend that after the desolate continent shattered, it turned into billions of pieces of dust. Each speck of dust formed an island, which was similar to the Azure Flower continent. Our azure flower continent is only a small island in the limitless ocean, and there are 5 or 6 islands scattered nearby. All of these islands are ruled by a two-star sect, and that's the Three Saints Temple. Patriarch Hong paused slightly. Three Saints Palace, a two-star sect. Zhao Feng's heart shook. He didn't think that behind the azure flower continent was a two-star sect. Furthermore, the words Three Saints Palace were very familiar to Zhao Feng. Suddenly, a passage appeared in Zhao Feng's mind. The Three Saints Palace has already spread its wings in the realm of dust, and it's hard to shake it. Recently, it has even lured several one-star sects to almost break the curse of 100 graves. Right now, the teleportation energy has been used up. This subordinate will go first. At this moment, Zhao Feng finally understood the meaning of this passage. It was obvious. The large force that had set up the forbidden ground of 100 graves had once tried to invade the azure flower continent, but was stopped by the Three Saints Palace. That force should be related to the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. I'll tell you another truth. Several hundred years ago, the Scarlet Moon demonic religion swept across the continent and fought against the 10 great sects led by the Sacred Alliance. In essence, it was an extension of the Three Saints Palace and another two-star sect. Patriarch Hong chuckled. Hearing this, Zhao Feng almost exclaimed, This is the truth of history. He never would have thought that the Scarlet Moon demonic religion had swept across the continent. That tragic and magnificent era would have such a shocking truth behind it. That's right. Back then, the Azure Flower Continent was just a battlefield between two two-star sections. In the end, the Three Saints Palace won, and the other two-star sect was a bit further away, so they lost. Tiamat seemed to know the secret and added. Hearing this, Zhao Feng was stunned and took a long time to calm down. The enormous Azure Flower Continent was just a battlefield between two two-star sections. The Patriarch is telling me all this about the Three Saints Palace. Could it be? Zhao Feng's heart jumped as a thought appeared in his mind. That's right. I'm planning to recommend you into the Three Saints Palace. This is the dream of all the true dragon geniuses of the continent. Because I'm a core member of the Sacred Alliance, I have the right to recommend you. Patriarch Hong said in a serious tone, Join the two-star sect, the Three Saints Palace. Zhao Feng's heartbeat sped up. In the Purple Saint Ruins, he had competed with the geniuses of the outside world and knew how terrifying two-star sects were, including the Azure Flower Continent, several continents, one-star sects, countless forces, and countries belong to the Three Saints Palace. Patriarch Zhao, I believe that with your talent and potential, it won't be hard for you to join the Three Saints Palace and even become a core disciple. Tiamat joked. In this era, the Azure Flower Continent was at an unprecedented peak. It shouldn't be a problem for an overwhelming prodigy like Zhao Feng to join the Three Saints Palace. Once I join a two-star sect, I'll be able to enter the outside world and step onto the true stage. But Zhao Feng's thoughts suddenly spun. Due to some reason, Zhao Feng's heart sank. Patriarch Hong, thank you for your good intentions, but I can't make a decision about joining the Three Saints Palace yet. Zhao Feng took a deep breath. What? The expressions of Patriarch Hong and Tiamat instantly froze as they looked at Zhao Feng in disbelief. They originally thought that Zhao Feng would agree without hesitation. However, they didn't think that Zhao Feng would refuse and wouldn't be able to make a decision in a short period of time. Zhao Feng, you can think about it first. I'll wait at least a year and a half and recover most of my Yuan Qi before going to the Sacred Alliance. Patriarch Hong was slightly disappointed, but he didn't ask for the reason. A moment later, Zhao Feng and Tiamat left the underground palace together. Tiamat couldn't help but be curious. Patriarch Zhao, do you still need to think about such a good opportunity? Zhao Feng sighed, but he didn't know how to explain it. There were two main reasons why he couldn't immediately agree to this opportunity. The first reason was the Purple Saint Ruins. Zhao Yufei was still in the Purple Saint Ruins, and according to the sage's predictions, she was most likely dead. Zhao Feng couldn't abandon her. Furthermore, he needed more resources to complete the 100 Corpses plan, so he needed to enter the Purple Saint Ruins. If he could cultivate in the Purple Saint ruins, the effect would be no less than a 2-star sect, and it might even be better. The second reason was his fiancée, Lu Qinxin. If he couldn't confirm Lu Qinxin's whereabouts, Zhao Feng wouldn't be able to rest easy. He even had a distant plan. Once he had a certain amount of strength, he would go to the vast outside world to find the Sky Saint Zither inheritance. These two reasons made it so that Zhao Feng couldn't easily join the Three Saints' Palace. Once he joined a 2-star sect, he would be restricted and lose his freedom. Several days later, the news of a new deputy patriarch of the Iron Blood religion started to spread across the country. The Iron Blood religion was first shaken. Everyone knew that the current leader of the Iron Blood religion was Deputy Patriarch Tiamo. And now, the Iron Blood religion had a new Deputy Patriarch. This was enough to cause waves in the Canopy Great Country. According to some sources, the person who appointed him was Patriarch Hong, who had been asleep for many years. This news shook the entire Canopy Great Country and was enough to shock many sects in the northern continent. If the rumors were true and the Iron Blood religion had truly risen, even the #1 sect in the northern continent, the Heavenly Yuan clan, would be moved. A month later, the headquarters of the Iron Blood religion, in a majestic hall. Greetings, Deputy Patriarch Zhao. On the two sides, the experts of the Iron Blood religion bowed. The weakest of the figures present were at the true human rank. Some of them were elites from the headquarters, while others came from the divisions. The ones closest to Zhao Feng were Dai Yi and Jiang Sanfeng. Dai Yi and Jiang Sanfeng had now become Zhao Feng's left and right arms and members of the upper echelon of the Iron Blood religion. After the greetings, the hall was dead silent. On the throne, Zhao Feng's eyes were slightly closed, and he didn't speak immediately. This was the first time he was in charge of the religion after becoming the deputy patriarch. The reason was because Tiamo had recently left the headquarters to clear out the remnants of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. Below, everyone held their breaths, and some looked uneasily at the blue-haired youth on the throne. As the saying goes, a new official has to be strict. Right now, the Iron Blood religion was temporarily managed by Zhao Feng. The upper echelon of the Iron Blood religion didn't know what was waiting for them. Chapter 506. Great Hall of the Iron Blood religion. Zhao Feng sat on the patriarch's throne and slowly opened his eyes. At this moment, Jiang Sanfeng reminded Deputy Patriarch, according to tradition, the headquarters of the Iron Blood religion has a meeting every month. You need to tell your subordinates to report some important matters. At the same time, you need to make a decision. Zhao Feng's eyebrows furrowed as he rubbed his forehead. For the past month or so, he had either been in seclusion or mobilized his troops to gather some resources. In this period of time, Zhao Feng had participated in a mission to clear out the remnants of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion, but when he arrived, only a few small fries were left. Let's begin. Zhao Feng's eyes scanned across the upper echelon of the Iron Blood religion. At this instant, an invisible pressure appeared in the hall. The mental energy aura of a true Lord rank was enough to make normal true human ranks and true mystic ranks feel uneasy. Zhao Feng's soul was as strong as those at the Origin Core realm, and his mental energy level was even stronger than Tiamo's. So terrifying. Just one glance almost made my mind collapse. This new deputy patriarch Zhao's mental energy pressure seems to be even stronger than Patriarch Tiamo's. The upper echelon's hearts shook when they saw Zhao Feng's gaze. They had all heard of the legends of this new cult master Zhao. Escaping the marriage in the flooding Lake City, kidnapping Empress Qin, sweeping the Thousand Water chapter, becoming famous in the sacred True Dragon gathering, becoming an overwhelming prodigy. Most recently, he had defeated several True Lord ranks and even killed the Qin Sword Palace Master. So much glory had been bestowed on a rising star. There was no other person in the entire country who could do this. In the current Canopy Great Country, Zhao Feng was one of the top figures, and his name could be counted on one hand. What? You don't have anything to say? Very good. I was just about to go on a long trip. Zhao Feng smiled as he looked at the dazed group and prepared to leave. The True Dragon Tea party was getting closer and closer. Zhao Feng wanted to join the fun and see the strength of the continent's strongest bloodline. Deputy Patriarch, please wait. We still have something to report. The upper echelons of the church blurted out in panic. Jiang Sanfeng and Dai Yi looked at each other with a weird expression. From the looks of it, Zhao Feng wanted to leave them behind and go on his own. Deputy Patriarch Zhao. The reason why the operation to exterminate the remnants of the Red Moon religion failed was due to the fact that there were spies among the higher-ups of the Iron Blood religion. A true mystic rank protector bowed and said, "Spies?" As soon as these words were spoken, a commotion arose in the hall. Being stared at like that, the headquarter elder suddenly felt weak, cold sweat oozing out of his forehead. "Men, take him down," Zhao Feng ordered. As soon as he finished speaking, Jiang Sanfeng and Dai Yi, who were on either side of him, quickly moved and pressed the head branch elder to the ground. The hearts of the experts in the hall shook, and they didn't know what was going on. Deputy Patriarch Zhao, even if you're the Deputy Patriarch, you can't punish me for no reason. Otherwise, how will you convince the others? That head elder didn't dare to resist, but he cried out his grievance with a miserable face. You still dare to argue? In this era where the demonic religion is reviving, what are you trying to do? An unstoppable mental energy shot out from Zhao Feng's God's spiritual eye. With a boom, the elder's heart shook and his mental defense was instantly broken. Some of the higher-ups of the church came to a sudden realization. If the Canopy Great Country started a war, who would benefit the most? It was obviously the Scarlet Moon demonic religion that was rising again. Then, Zhao Feng didn't even need to use his Eye of Heart to make the Protector's mental collapse reveal his identity as a spy. In just a short while, Zhao Feng had found a traitor of the demonic religion. The upper echelons present felt their hearts go cold. Of course, the reason why Zhao Feng was sure it was this person was because he had found something suspicious with his God's spiritual eye. An hour later, the hearts of the members in the Iron Blood Religion Hall trembled. 2 or 3 spies were pulled out by Zhao Feng, mainly due to his eye bloodline. Of course, these spies weren't all from the demonic religion. Over half of them were from the Imperials. Several days later, the headquarters of the Iron Blood religion was filled with killing intent. Everyone was panicking as the spies were cleaned out one after another. All of this was because of the new Deputy Patriarch's insight. Unknowingly, Zhao Feng's name covered the entire headquarters. In just a few days, he had killed more than 10 upper echelons of the religion. How could people not be shocked? This also caused the upper echelons of the religion to tremble in fear whenever Zhao Feng's gaze swept over. In the blink of an eye, Zhao Feng had been in charge of the religion for over half a month, and the headquarters had been cleaned out. Finally, on this day, Deputy Patriarch Tiamo returned and found that the entire headquarters was filled with killing intent. The aura was even sharper than before. Tiamo was surprised, but after knowing the truth, he was filled with admiration and joy. Zhao Feng's actions had pulled out a tumor one by one for the Iron Blood religion. It was more effective than killing 10 times or even 100 times more enemies. On the same night, Zhao Feng found Tiamo and the two met in a secret hall. "I'm about to go on a long trip, so I'll leave some matters to Brother Tiamo," Zhao Feng said. After Tiamo returned, he felt a sense of relief, as if a heavy burden had been lifted from his shoulders. With the God's spiritual eye, he could see through people's hearts to a certain degree. As long as the opponent's cultivation was lower than his, they wouldn't be able to escape. Therefore, Zhao Feng was rather efficient in dealing with the internal affairs of the religion. However, this wasn't the path he wanted to walk. "Oh, you must be going to the True Dragon Tea Party at this time, right?" Tiamo said without hesitation. After all, he had participated in the sacred True Dragon gathering before, but his ranking wasn't as high as Zhao Feng's. Zhao Feng nodded his head and smiled. He wanted to see how much the prodigies had improved. He was also slightly interested in the three-eyed saint, who had the strongest eye bloodline on the continent. With your strength, Yu Qianhao is probably the only one in the younger generation who can match up to you. However, you need to pay attention to the three-eyed saint, Tiamo warned. "Oh, three-eyed saint?" Zhao Feng was slightly interested. The three-eyed saint won 2 sacred True Dragon gatherings before Yu Tianhao. He's already in his 50s and shouldn't be considered part of the younger generation. Furthermore, he was recommended by the Sacred Alliance to join the Three Saints Palace several years ago. He's now a deacon in the Three Saints Palace. Tiamat slowly said, Three Saints Palace? A light flashed through Zhao Feng's eyes. He didn't think that the three-eyed saint was already a member of the Three Saints Palace and a deacon. His three-eyed light is said to be unbreakable and indestructible. It has always been the strongest eye bloodline on the continent. When the time comes, he'll probably challenge you to a duel regardless of age. That's because the three-eyed saint and goddess Bing Wei seem to be engaged. Worry appeared in Tiamat's eyes. The battle between Zhao Feng and Yu Qianhao might be 50-50. However, the three-eyed saint wasn't the same age as them, and he came from a two-star sect. So that's how it is. The three-eyed saint and goddess Bing Wei are engaged. Zhao Feng was stunned. Tiamat told Zhao Feng about the three-eyed saint's eye bloodline. Zhao Feng didn't ignore it and listened carefully. Thank you, Brother Tiamat, for the reminder. However, even if the three-eyed saint doesn't do anything, I still want to challenge him. Zhao Feng's voice was filled with confidence. In the distant realm of ice, a male and female walked side by side in a palace made of ice and snow. Zhao Feng's eye bloodline's abilities include mental energy illusions, eye bloodline flames, and ice. Goddess Bing Wei explained in detail. Beside her was a golden-haired young man with a cold expression and shoulders that seemed as if they were carved by a blade. There was a third eye on his forehead, but it was closed, so his true appearance couldn't be seen. Sister Wei, don't worry. My sacred eye bloodline has awakened to the third stage and can counter almost all eye bloodlines under the origin core realm. Chapter 507. Several days later, in the main headquarters of the Iron Blood religion stood a few young figures in front of an empty martial arts field. Zhao Feng still hasn't come out? How long do we have to wait? A young man with disheveled hair and a dirty face, dressed in flowery clothes, crossed his arms, and had a frivolous appearance. Wang Xiaoguai, you've got guts to be rude to the deputy patriarch in the territory of the Iron Blood religion. Jiang Sanfeng said sharply. Wang Xiaoguai snorted, his face full of resentment, and his expression became more restrained. Next to Wang Xiaoguai were two youths. One was a golden-robed brown-haired youth, and the other was a handsome battle-rogue youth. So, these three were the true dragon geniuses of the Canopy Great Country, and were preparing to participate in the tea party. The two next to Wang Xiaoguai were Prince Jin and Tian Yunji. The Canopy Great Country's performance in this sacred true dragon gathering was unexpectedly good, and they had the most true dragon geniuses out of all the great countries. Just the Iron Blood religion alone had 3 true dragon geniuses, Zhao Feng, Jiang Sanfeng, and Dai Yi. Jiang Sanfeng, the tea party is a bit tight. If it wasn't for the fact that we had to wait for Zhao Feng, we would have left a month ago. Prince Jin couldn't help but complain. The reason they had to wait for Zhao Feng was because he was not only the number 1 genius of the great country, but also the overwhelming prodigy of the continent. If they could go with Zhao Feng, they would be able to help each other at the tea party. Simply put, Zhao Feng was the leader of the great country's geniuses and even the king of the northern continent. Deputy Patriarch Zhao said to leave on time. Jiang Sanfeng said confidently. Right at this moment, the sound of flying appeared. The Deputy Patriarch will be here soon. A girl in pink floated down with a smile. It was Dai Yi. As soon as her words finished, a slight numbing feeling came from the martial arts field. Shua, a blue-haired figure landed at almost the same time as Dai Yi. Zhao Feng, Prince Jin, and Tian Yunji's eyes were filled with shock. The two of them didn't even see how Zhao Feng had appeared. They were certain that Dai Yi had left much earlier than Zhao Feng, but the latter had arrived at the same time. Yes, everyone is here. Get ready to go. Zhao Feng said straightforwardly. Are we leaving now? Wang Xiaoguai stared fixedly at Zhao Feng. His face was filled with fear, but he struggled to hide his intense battle intent. Jiang Sanfeng smiled and said, Vice Sect Master, before we set off, we would like to exchange pointers with the Sect Master so that we don't lose face at the True Dragon Tea Party. All right. Zhao Feng did not object. Clearly, These people had gathered at the martial arts practice field for the same reason. Zhao Feng's eyes scanned across the three. Wang Xiaoguai, Prince Jin, and Tian Yunji's cultivation had all reached the early stages of the true mystic rank, and Prince Jin's cultivation was close to the late stages of the true mystic rank. Jiang Sanfeng had just broken through to the true mystic rank, and Dai Yu was still at the peak true human rank. Compared to before the sacred true dragon gathering, they had improved greatly and lived up to their name. As soon as Zhao Feng's voice fell, the sparring began. The first to go up was Wang Xiaoguai. He glared fiercely at Jiang Sanfeng, as if holding a grudge against the latter for scolding him earlier. Jiang Sanfeng wasn't scared. He had recently broken through to the true mystic rank, and his inheritance technique had reached a higher level. On the martial arts practice field, the two figures soon clashed. Zhao Feng watched with interest. However, the speed at which the victor was decided was faster than he imagined. Sky Ape Divine Luo. Wang Xiaoguai beat his chest with both fists and roared. His skin became like diamond, and his hair stood on end. A golden pattern appeared, and his body suddenly expanded like a diamond monkey. The moment Wang Xiaoguai punched out, the earth shook and the formless power of his body shook the air. A purple fist shadow, surrounded by a layer of dazzling golden spots, appeared with the naked eye. The power was enough to shatter mountains. The power of the fist made Jiang Sanfeng suffocate and almost spit out blood. Boom! Jiang Sanfeng's inherited battle skill was shattered by Wang Xiaoguai's punch, and he was sent flying. Jiang Sanfeng! Dai Yi exclaimed in disbelief, and immediately went to help Jiang Sanfeng up. That fist made Jiang Sanfeng unable to get up. One move to decide the victor. The two weren't on the same level. This Wang Xiaoguai's bloodline has awakened after entering the inheritance, and his growth is probably the fastest out of everyone here. Zhao Feng's eyes narrowed. He didn't expect Wang Xiaoguai to be so strong. Jiang Sanfeng didn't lose unjustly. Wang Xiaoguai defeated him with an overwhelming advantage. Although Wang Xiaoguai was only at the early stages of the true mystic rank, his battle power wasn't much weaker than the 5 overwhelming prodigies. To this, Prince Jin and Tian Yunji weren't surprised. We've all lost to this brat in the past half a year. Prince Jin said unhappily. Zhao Feng and company understood. So before Zhao Feng returned, Wang Xiaoguai was the #1 genius of Canopy Great Country. After that, a brilliant battle unfolded between Prince Jin and Tian Yunji. After dozens of exchanges, Tian Yunji's Tian and Yun family bloodlines exploded and his blade intent slashed through the clouds, defeating Prince Jin. Tian Yunji, I didn't think you'd improve so much. Prince Jin was slightly bitter. The former #1 genius of Great Country had died. A few months ago, he and Tian Yunji were evenly matched, but now he was suppressed by Tian Yunji. Zhao Feng nodded his head in his heart. Tian Yunji's potential was huge. Not only did he have a bloodline inheritance, but he had also comprehended blade intent. His strength was probably unmatched under the True Lord rank. After winning, Tian Yunji's battle intent surged, and he challenged Wang Xiaoguai. Wang Xiaoguai cackled and activated his bloodline battle skill. He was unstoppable as he punched out, causing cracks to appear on the ground. There weren't too many flashy moves, just simple and violent. 10 rounds later, dang, Tian Yunji and his blade were sent flying by Wang Xiaoguai's fist. Wang Xiaoguai's body was strong, and his physical strength could sweep through most true mystic rank cultivators. Furthermore, once he used his bloodline skill, his strength and defense would double and break through the barrier of cultivation. He. Wang Xiaoguai pounded his chest with his fists. His body was like a diamond with golden stripes on it. His powerful aura suppressed everyone. The nearby experts of the Iron Blood religion looked at Wang Xiaoguai in shock. Wang Xiaoguai was probably unrivaled under the True Lord rank. In terms of defense, he wasn't any weaker than Shi Chengtian, one of the 5 overwhelming prodigies. In terms of explosiveness, his bloodline had the advantage. Suddenly, Wang Xiaoguai had swept the entire battlefield. Okay, let's go. Zhao Feng gave a simple evaluation of the strengths and weaknesses of these people and prepared to leave. Tian Yunji and Prince Jin were enlightened after hearing the evaluation. Zhao Feng, our battle hasn't even started yet. Wang Xiaowai laughed weirdly and blocked Zhao Feng's path. Everyone paused. Wang Xiaowai, you dare to challenge the deputy patriarch? Even some true lord ranks aren't deputy patriarch Zhao's match. Jiang Sanfeng shook his head and smiled. He was stunned by Wang Xiaowai's punch just then and obviously didn't forget to attack Wang Xiaowai. Many of the spectators laughed in astonishment. They all knew of Zhao Feng's fame. He had defeated several true lord ranks and even killed the Qin Sword Palace master. Although Wang Xiaowai was strong, he was definitely not Zhao Feng's match. Of course, Prince Jin, Tian Yunji, and company were hopeful that Wang Xiaowai would be able to find out more about Zhao Feng's strength. However, the result was destined to be disappointing. Begin. Zhao Feng smiled faintly and didn't refuse. Sky 8 Divine Luo. Without any hesitation, Wang Xiaowai activated his bloodline battle skill. A layer of dazzling golden light appeared around him as he punched out, causing the ground to tremble. A golden-purple fist image covered the surrounding dozens of meters. Even normal True Lord ranks would feel pressured by the difference in physical strength. Bam! Wang Xiaowai's punch missed, and a large fist-shaped ravine appeared in front of him that extended 100 yards. Everyone's vision blurred. By the time they found Zhao Feng, the battle was already over. Ark! Wang Xiaowai was lifted into the air with his head down and feet up, waving his arms and legs. He wanted to struggle, but his body was bound by a layer of lightning, and he couldn't help but beg for mercy. The people present could not help but be startled. Tian Yunji and Prince Jin looked at each other, their faces filled with shock. It was obvious that Zhao Feng's strength had reached a level that they couldn't see through. Okay, let's go. Zhao Feng let go of Wang Xiaowai's leg in midair. Plop! Wang Xiaowai's head fell down and created a human-shaped hole in the ground. If it was someone else at the True Spirit Realm, they would probably be bleeding, but no one was worried about his safety. On the same day, 6 true dragon geniuses from the Canopy Great Country left the main headquarters of the Iron Blood religion. The group of people all had high-quality flying beasts as mounts, so they switched places with each other. They flew without stopping, heading straight for the central continent at an extremely fast speed. After the sacred True Dragon gathering, the 6 true dragon geniuses had made great improvements and didn't need to worry about the wilderness. Furthermore, with an overwhelming prodigy like Zhao Feng there, the elders of the Canopy Great Country didn't need to worry. 2 months later, the group of 6 finally entered the middle continent. Zhao Feng calculated the distance and found that it wasn't much further than the distance from the cloud area to the Canopy Great Country. This was because the middle continent was at the very center of the continent and wasn't far from the other continents. Therefore, it was more suitable to hold the tea party here. I heard that the middle continent is the strongest among the continents and has the most geniuses. For example, the Three-Eyed Saint and Yu Tianhao are both geniuses from the middle continent. Jiang Sanfeng sighed. Although they had all participated in the sacred True Dragon gathering, they hadn't spent much time in the middle continent. We'll arrive at the tea party after 3 or 4 strong countries. Prince Jin took out the map. Soon, the flying spiritual pets of the 6 of them disappeared into the sky. Shua shua. In a dark forest several hundred miles away, 2 shadowy and blurry figures emerged. One of the 2 figures was a slender, black-robed beauty, and the other was a tall, shadowy figure with a black crown on his head. Elder, it's just a few brats. The strongest one is only at the early stage True Lord rank. Why do you need to chase them yourself? Why don't you let me capture and kill them? The black-robed beauty said respectfully. These brats have the aura of the Scarlet Moon Division head token and seem to have just entered the middle continent. The Sacred Alliance has used these tokens as bait to ambush our experts. Don't act rashly. Chapter 508. In the air above a river in the northern part of the middle continent, the group of 6 from the Canopy Great Country sat on a large flying beast and headed toward their destination. Zhao Feng spent most of his time cultivating. After returning from the Purple Saint ruins, Zhao Feng started to cultivate the Wind Lightning Tablet and the Ice Imperial Spear. The former focused on his main cultivation technique, while the latter focused on how to use his bloodline. Between the two, Zhao Feng focused on the Wind Lightning Tablet because this inheritance was more complete. It was a peak existence amongst the other inheritances. Not many legacies could compare to the Wind Lightning Emperor's essence of speed. On the other hand, the information within the Ice Imperial Spear was slightly blurry and focused on how to use this Earth-grade weapon. At this moment, the power of Wind Lightning within Zhao Feng's body had a faint purple aura that only took up 1/20th of the original azure color. However, even then, Zhao Feng was still overjoyed. This meant that his comprehension and cultivation of the Wind Thunder Ancient Tablet had entered a new stage. Purple Wind Thunder. According to the information in the inheritance, the Purple Wind Lightning contains a wisp of the laws of destruction, and its power will increase dramatically. Because the Purple Wind Lightning contains the laws of destruction, any injured being will face resistance when they want to recover. After comprehending the Wind Lightning Tablet for so long, Zhao Feng knew that the power of Wind Lightning would increase by dozens of times every time it reached a new level. Right at this moment, a voice sounded in his mind through the dark heart seed. Master, after entering the Middle Continent, we can gather more resources. I've already refined 2 or 3 true Lord-rank ghost corpses. In reality, Zhao Feng's goal in coming to the Middle Continent was only to participate in the Tea Party. There were more resources in the Middle Continent that could help him cultivate and complete the 100 Corpse plan. If Zhao Feng's strength could increase even further and he could complete the 100 Corpse plan, no force in the Middle Continent wouldn't be wary of him. Skeletal Division Leader. Zhao Feng's voice was filled with coldness as it entered the Skeletal Division Leader's soul through the Dark Heart Seed. The Skeletal Division Leader hiccuped and felt a sense of death. Zhao Feng only needed a single thought to destroy his soul. Zhao Feng, the Skeletal Division Leader's body froze. Since their soul power and mastery of the Tao of the Soul weren't too far apart, Zhao Feng planted the Dark Heart Seed deep within the Skeletal Division Leader's soul. The latter had no chance of escaping. We seem to be targeted by someone. Perhaps it has something to do with the aura on your body. Zhao Feng said calmly. His God's spiritual eye started to scan the Skeletal Division Leader within the 10,000 Ghost Pearl. The Skeletal Division Leader's aura was too chaotic, so Zhao Feng didn't pay much attention to it. However, after entering the Middle Continent, he felt as if he was being targeted by someone. His God's spiritual eye would occasionally sense danger. Hearing this, the Skeletal Division Leader fell into silence, and the flames in its eye sockets jumped. You don't have to answer, but I don't mind giving up on a servant that might bring unknown danger. Zhao Feng said casually. The Skeletal Division Leader was very useful and could even recover to the Origin Core realm in a year or 2. However, Zhao Feng wouldn't hesitate in the face of his life. Maybe it's because of this Scarlet Moon Division Leader token. The Skeletal Division Leader flipped its hand, and a transparent scarlet blood-colored token floated in front of it. The medallion seemed to be weightless. In fact, it didn't even seem like a normal material object as it floated in the space within the myriad Ghost Pearl. It's indeed unique. Through his God's spiritual eye, Zhao Feng could only sense a faint aura that was connected to the Skeletal Division Leader's own aura. If he didn't try to, he wouldn't be able to sense it. The Skeletal Division Leader sighed. Your senses are stronger than I expected. This Scarlet Moon Division Head token is made from my own aura and special materials from the Outer Realm. Those that can sense this aura are at least Division Leaders, including the Scarlet Moon Elders and even the Patriarch. Scarlet Moon Division Leader token. When Zhao Feng heard this, he couldn't help but take in a cold breath, his heart thumping wildly. This meant that the existence that was targeting Zhao Feng was at least at the level of a Scarlet Moon Division Leader. If the Scarlet Moon Patriarch was nearby, he would be able to sense the Scarlet Moon Division Leader token. Of course, Zhao Feng could eliminate the possibility that the Scarlet Moon Patriarch was the Scarlet Moon Patriarch. If the existence targeting him was really that strong, there was nothing to worry about. Therefore, he was sure that the person targeting him wasn't much stronger than the skeletal division leader. The worst-case scenario was that it was a sovereign at the origin core realm. But you're hiding in the Ghost Pearl and should be isolated from the outside world. Why are we still being targeted? Zhao Feng found something suspicious and asked. He didn't believe that a holy weapon like the 10,000 Ghost Pearl would be able to sense the skeletal division leader's aura inside. The Scarlet Moon Division Leader token is connected to my aura. Because you often come into contact with me, both you and the Ghost Pearl have my aura. Furthermore, the materials used to make the Scarlet Moon Division Leader token didn't come from the Azure Flower Continent, but from the Scarlet Moon Inheritance. Several hundred years ago, it had many abilities, including sending messages within a certain range. If you kill me, the aura of the token will also be transferred to you, allowing other experts to take revenge. The Scarlet Moon Division Leader explained. Hearing this, Zhao Feng was even more surprised. There were countless existences in the outside world that he couldn't even imagine. Of course, if you don't trust me, you could destroy the Scarlet Moon Division Leader token or lose it. The Skeletal Division Leader said casually. Zhao Feng started to think expressionlessly. He couldn't understand the profundities of the Scarlet Moon Division Leader token. Once I destroy the token, I'll alert the enemy, and the people following me will attack me. If I throw it away, I can't be sure if the Skeletal Division Leader will do anything to it and give the people following me a hint. Zhao Feng's thoughts spun. He soon made a decision, and a bold plan appeared in his mind. Put this token away, Zhao Feng ordered. The Skeletal Division Leader couldn't help but be surprised. Zhao Feng knew that the token would be a great threat, but he didn't panic and destroy the token. It didn't know what Zhao Feng was planning, but it could only do as he said. After all, its life was in Zhao Feng's hands. I still have a killing card that I haven't used yet. I'll play with him for a while. Zhao Feng closed his eyes and ignored the dangerous aura coming from behind him. On the flying beast, the other 5 true dragon geniuses laughed. They had no idea what kind of dangerous situation they were in. In the blink of an eye, half a month passed. In this period of time, they felt the prosperity of the Middle Continent. The development of the Middle Continent was indeed better than the Northern Continent. On this day, the flying beasts they were riding entered a beautiful landscape, and a shining golden metal castle appeared in their vision. The metal castle gave off a faint golden glow under the sunlight. It could be seen from thousands of miles away. Golden Sun Sacred City. This is where the tea party is being held. This Golden Sun Sacred City is said to have been created by the legendary three-eyed heavenly monarch, using special materials from the outer realms. It has been around for at least a few thousand years. Everyone inspected the flying beast as it neared the Golden Sun Sacred City. Zhao Feng had heard Tiamat mention the Golden Sun Sacred City before. The owner of this sacred city was the strongest eye bloodline family in the continent, the Golden Sun family. In other words, the tea party was being held in the territory of the three-eyed saints family. He had gotten first in the last 2 sacred true dragon gatherings, and the Golden Sun family was comparable to the 10 great clans. No one doubted his ability to hold the tea party here. As they neared the Golden Sun Sacred City, Zhao Feng felt the dangerous aura behind them disappear. It was as if the upper echelon of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion was wary of the Golden Sun Sacred City. It's the Golden Sun family. The Scarlet Moon Division Leader gritted his teeth within the 10,000 Ghost Pearl. His eyes were filled with hatred, but he couldn't hide the respect in his heart. Zhao Feng was surprised. Even the Skeletal Division Leader seemed to be wary of the Golden Sun family. Could it be that the Skeletal Division Leader had suffered at the hands of the Golden Sun family before? As the flying beast under their feet neared the Golden Sun Sacred City, whoosh, 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 Zhao Feng and company flew into the air and landed in the air above the Golden Sun Sacred City. The Golden Sun Sacred City was a large castle that belonged to a family. As soon as Zhao Feng and company got close, they attracted the attention of the guards. 6 people so young, and they're all at the true spirit realm. One of them is even at the true lord rank. Zhao Feng and company's group would cause waves even in the sacred lands of the Middle Continent. Pass down my order. The overwhelming prodigy, Zhao Feng, has arrived at the Golden Sun Sacred City. The overwhelming prodigy, Zhao Feng, has arrived at the Golden Sun Sacred City. Loud voices echoed from the outside to the inside of the metal castle. It was obvious that an overwhelming prodigy like Zhao Feng was easily recognized. After all, the True Dragon Tea Party was going to be held soon, and the Golden Sun family had prepared for it. In just a few breaths, the Golden Sun family within the castle broke out into chaos, especially the younger generation. The moment Zhao Feng and company arrived at the Golden Sun Sacred City, they were immediately inspected by countless gazes. Prince Jin, Wang Xiaoguai, Jiang Sanfeng, and the others felt a little guilty, but they also felt an inexplicable excitement and heroism. Jiang Sanfeng and Dai both felt a sense of joy and pride. Being in the peak family of the continent and being looked at with respect and admiration was an indescribable feeling. Even though they knew that all this glory belonged to Zhao Feng, they were still shocked. He's Zhao Feng, the overwhelming prodigy king? Even our sacred son didn't have such a title back then. The gazes within the metallic castle were filled with respect and admiration. After all, there weren't many young true lord ranks in the entire continent. This Zhao Feng's arrogant. His eye bloodline swept the sacred true dragon gathering, and now he stepped into the territory of the strongest eye bloodline family. Of course, there were also a few unfriendly gazes. Zhao Feng was calm as he entered the castle, ignoring the gazes of the Golden Sun family. Zhao Feng, Zhao Feng. The voices of the younger generation came from within the Golden Sun family, including some young girls. Chapter 509. Zhao Feng, Zhao Feng. The entire Golden Sun sacred city broke into chaos. The overwhelming prodigy was definitely the main character of this tea party. On top of that, the newcomer was the youngest of the 5 overwhelming prodigies. Although there were a few other overwhelming prodigies in Golden Sun Sacred City, their fame couldn't be compared to this person. This is the strongest true dragon genius that has arrived in the sacred city. At this moment in time, the cheers caused the entire Golden Sun Sacred City to boil. Within the sacred city, several figures stood on top of a tall metal tower, gazing at Zhao Feng's group of 6. Jinyang Shengtian. This Zhao Feng seems to be even more popular than you, as sacred son. Back in the Three Saints Palace, you said you were the best amongst the younger generation in the Azure Flower Continent. A thick-eyebrowed youth said in a mocking tone. The figures all looked toward a golden-haired youth. The golden-haired youth had a cold expression, and there was a hint of arrogance and disdain in his eyes. There was a closed third eye on his forehead. This golden-haired youth was the Three-Eyed Saint. You're from another continent, so don't interfere in this tea party. Just watch the show. The Three-Eyed Saint warned the thick-eyebrowed youth. Brother Jinyang, you haven't shown your face in more than a dozen years. It's understandable that these people have forgotten your name. A cold voice came from an icy beauty. Her skin seemed to be carved out of ice. She radiated a cold aura that seemed to freeze the air nearby. However, there was a hint of gentleness in her gaze when she looked at the Three-Eyed Saint like a little girl worshiping a little girl. It was rare for an ice beauty like Goddess Bingwei to have such an expression. Sister Bingwei, you're thinking too much. The Three-Eyed Saint took back his gaze and smiled. This Zhao Feng isn't my true match. His strength mainly came from his eye bloodline, which meant that his fate was already decided. The only true match for me in the Azure Flower Continent is Yu Qianhao. Goddess Bingwei's eyes flashed with doubt after hearing this. This was because in this sacred true dragon gathering, Zhao Feng and Yu Qianhao's performances weren't much different. The Three-Eyed Saint considered Yu Qianhao as his opponent, but he didn't put Zhao Feng in his eyes. Goddess Bingwei had personally experienced Zhao Feng's terrifying ability to create miracles and win against the strong. She was worried that the Three-Eyed Saint would underestimate Zhao Feng and be at a disadvantage. Among all the families on the continent, Only the Yu family's unparalleled heaven-battling bloodline is special and has been passed down for the longest time. It is comparable to the Golden Sun family's sacred eye bloodline. The three-eyed saint's gaze was filled with yearning. It was as if he was looking back to the glory of his family. Unparalleled heaven battle bloodline. Even the thick-browed young man showed a trace of interest. Why have I never heard of this bloodline? Goddess Bing, Wei didn't understand. That's because the unparalleled heaven-battling bloodline is different from ordinary bloodline inheritances. In fact, it even exceeds the limits of bloodline inheritances. More accurately speaking, it's a continuation of intent. This bloodline is the king of battle. Once it appears, no one in the same generation will be able to match it. However, the chances of this bloodline appearing is very, very low. At most, a normal heaven-battling bloodline will appear. The three-eyed saint sighed. The people present could not help but come to a sudden realization when they heard this. In terms of bloodline inheritances, only the Yu family could surpass the Golden Sun family. Does Yu Qianhao have this bloodline? At least he has signs of it. But no matter what, he's an opponent that I must defeat. Let me complete what the Golden Sun family hasn't been able to do for several generations. Battle intent burned in the three-eyed saint's eyes. Hearing this, Goddess Bing Wei couldn't help but think. She had heard a little about the feud between the Jinyang family and the Yu family. The Golden Sun family and the Yu family were the two strongest families on the continent, and they hadn't fought for just a few hundred years. However, the Yu family had the upper hand most of the time, especially in the last few hundred years. For example, the generation of the three-eyed saint's father wasn't a match for sovereign Yu Xingqian and was even crushed beneath his feet. After all, the purity of the sacred eye bloodline in the three-eyed saint's father's generation was very low, and there weren't any sovereigns. However, the three-eyed saint was different. His sacred eye bloodline was the purest after the three-eyed heavenly lord of the Golden Sun family. This was also why the three-eyed saint considered him an opponent. Even in his eyes, Yu Qianhao wasn't a challenge at all. Zhao Feng, Zhao Feng. At this moment, the cheers within the metal castle started to die down. The Golden Sun family had already sent people to receive Zhao Feng and company. There were dozens of true dragon geniuses participating in the tea party, as well as many geniuses from the Middle Continent. All the true dragon geniuses were arranged to stay in the guest rooms of the Golden Sun family. Zhao Feng, you're finally here. Some of the true dragon geniuses and overwhelming prodigies greeted Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng's gaze scanned over and saw that of the 5 overwhelming prodigies, Shi, Chengtian, and Tantan Lanyue had already arrived. Goddess Bing Wei wasn't present. Zhao Feng had seen her with his god's spiritual eye when he entered the city. Apart from that, the geniuses of the first tier below the overwhelming prodigies, such as Mo Qiani, Song Yue, Xia Xianshang, Taba Feng, and company were also present. At the moment, of the 5 overwhelming prodigies, only Yu Tianhao wasn't here. Zhao Feng's god spiritual eye scanned over the crowd and was slightly regretful that he didn't find Xi and Wuheng. Apparently, Xi and Wuheng didn't return after entering the Heaven's Legacy inheritance. This meant that Zhao Feng wasn't very interested in this tea party. Of all the true dragon geniuses, the 2 opponents he was most interested in were Yu Tianhao and Xi and Wuheng. It was one of the 5 overwhelming prodigies, Shi Changtan, who was very friendly to Zhao Feng and spoke with gratitude. Back in the second stage of the Sacred True Dragon gathering, Zhao Feng had fought with Shi Chengtian and saved the latter's life, so they had to fight. Time passed by slowly. In the blink of an eye, almost 10 days had passed. The time of the tea party had arrived. However, the weird thing was that the tea party didn't start as scheduled. Zhao Feng was in seclusion and didn't notice this. However, some of the top geniuses of the continent had different opinions. Golden Sun family, guest room area. Goddess Bing Wei. When will the tea party start? A commotion came from the crowd. Goddess Bing Wei, the host, had entered the guest room area. Considering that Yu Qianhao and the other true dragon geniuses haven't arrived yet, the tea party will be delayed for a few days. Goddess Bing Wei had an apologetic expression. After all, There were several overwhelming prodigies that were on the same level as her, and she couldn't neglect them. Oh well, we'll wait a few days. Since Yu Qianhao didn't come, the tea party will have one less strong opponent, and we'll lose a lot of fun. Sure, Qing Tian's voice was low. He and Tantan Lanua looked at each other and didn't object. Of the 5 overwhelming prodigies, Yu Qianhao had always been the leader, and the other overwhelming prodigies had been determined to challenge him for more than a day or two. Furthermore, after returning from the inheritance for over a year, the true dragon geniuses present had improved, and their confidence had increased. Like this, another 3 or 4 days passed in order to wait for Yu Qianhao. Yu Qianhao still hadn't come. Yu Qianhao came to the tea party last time. Why didn't he come this time? That's weird. Yu Qianhao hasn't appeared in the continent in the past half a year. The participating true dragon geniuses discussed in private. The tea party dragged on until the 10th day, and some true dragon geniuses started to lose their patience. A few true dragon geniuses had important things to do and were about to leave. Deputy Patriarch, the tea party has been dragging on. Should we wait? Zhang Sanfeng asked. Zhao Feng spoke. The tea party is just a small gathering. We'll wait for 3 more days. If it doesn't happen, we'll return to the Canopy Great Country. Being the only overwhelming prodigy comparable to Yu Qianhao, Zhao Feng's words had a lot of weight. His words soon gained the support of the other true dragon geniuses. That's right. If the tea party doesn't happen in 3 days, we'll leave. Shi Chengtian was the first to agree, followed by Tantan Lanyue, Mo Tianyi, and company. Under this situation, the host of the tea party, the three-eyed saint and goddess Bing Wei, couldn't sit still anymore. The three-eyed saint, who was hiding behind the scenes, personally came to the guest area and calmed the true dragon geniuses down. Everyone, give me some face and wait 10 more days. The three-eyed saint stood with his hands behind his back, and his golden hair sparkled in the sunlight. The eyelids of the closed third eye on his forehead twitched, emitting a mysterious aura that was ancient and powerful. Some of the geniuses with bloodlines felt their bloodlines trembling. After all, the three-eyed saint was the king of the sacred true dragon gathering 2 years ago, and his seniority was higher than the other true dragon geniuses present. Everyone was in awe of his strength and reputation, so their hearts calmed down. Fine, the last 10 days. Sure, Qingtan, Tantan Lanyue, and company didn't want to go against the three-eyed saint, so they reluctantly agreed. Zhao Feng stood in the crowd, his expression the same as ever, and he didn't say anything. That's good. A smile appeared on the three-eyed saint's face as he scanned across the crowd with disdain. He didn't put these true dragon geniuses or overwhelming prodigies in his eyes. After all, his seniority was high, and he had cultivated in the Three Saints' Palace for more than a decade. His vision had long surpassed the limits of the continent. However, when the three-eyed saint's gaze landed on a blue-haired youth, his eyebrows furrowed. Of the true dragon geniuses, the 5 overwhelming prodigies were the leaders. Shi Chengtian and Tantan Lanyue both agreed to what he said just then. Only Zhao Feng didn't react. Zhao Feng, you don't have any objections, right? The three-eyed saint squinted his eyes. His cultivation had reached the late-stage true lord rank, and his sacred eye bloodline had awakened to the 3rd stage. Almost no one under the origin core realm was his match. Just a wisp of the three-eyed saint's aura was enough to make the true dragon geniuses and overwhelming prodigies feel uneasy. Of course, I have no objection since you two are hosting the tea party, Zhao Feng said emotionlessly. That's good. Although the three-eyed saint didn't like Zhao Feng's attitude, he let out a breath since the latter didn't object. However, I've already decided to return to the northern continent in 3 days. Furthermore, if the tea party doesn't start before I leave, I want to experience the power of the strongest eye bloodline in the continent. I believe you won't reject me, right? Chapter 5:10. Before I leave, if the tea party doesn't start, I want to experience the power of the continent's strongest eye bloodline. I'm sure the three-eyed saint won't reject that, right? His words suddenly changed. Zhao Feng's expression remained calm as he looked at the host of the tea party, the three-eyed saint. Hearing this, the hearts of the true dragon geniuses jumped. Everyone was bewildered as they looked at the blue-haired youth in the crowd. No one would have thought that Zhao Feng would go against the three-eyed saint, and even asked to spar with him. Instantly, the originally peaceful atmosphere on the field was now filled with a sense of urgency. This Zhao Feng doesn't give the three-eyed saint any face at all. What boldness! He's directly challenging the champion of the sacred true dragon gathering. The three-eyed saint is over 50 years old. When he participated in the first sacred true dragon gathering, Zhao Feng wasn't even born yet. The crowd was astounded, but their faces were filled with anticipation and excitement. Although most of them didn't think Zhao Feng would win, they had to admit that only Zhao Feng could fight against the three-eyed saint. Zhao Feng, looks like you won't give me face. The three-eyed saint's expression became grim. The closed third eye on his forehead suddenly narrowed to a slit. A layer of mysterious gold flashed and gave off a domineering bloodline presence. The true dragon geniuses present felt their hearts jump and their bodies tremble. The three-eyed saint's sacred eye bloodline had only been slightly opened, but the terrifying aura it released already made those with bloodlines tremble uneasily and show signs of submission. This is the power of the continent's strongest eye bloodline. Even the overwhelming prodigies felt a lot of pressure and found it hard to breathe. Shi Qingtian and Tantan Lanyue were shocked, whereas Goddess Bing Wei's face was filled with joy and joy. This three-eyed saint's sacred eye bloodline has already awakened to the third stage. Tuoba Chi and the ghost-eyed man, the other two successors of the three bloodline families, circulated their eye bloodlines to resist the suppression of the eye bloodline. However, in front of the strongest eye bloodline in the continent, both Tuoba Chi and the ghost-eyed man felt helpless. The aura from the three-eyed saint's third eye wasn't targeted at anyone, but everyone. Faintly, he had the power to suppress all the true dragon geniuses present. However, there was one person on the field who remained unmoved. Give you face? If you defeat me, you will be qualified. Zhao Feng's expression gradually turned cold. Under the pressure of the three-eyed saint's domineering eye bloodline, his left eye suddenly turned a bone-piercing blue. Within the dimension of his left eye, the lake of eye bloodline power had already extended to 180 yards. The surge of eye bloodline power between ice and water represented Zhao Feng's soul strength that was comparable to the origin core realm. Pong! The auras of the two eye powers clashed against each other. In that instant, a ball of golden aura and a ball of blue aura clashed. Wisps of golden heat waves and icy blue currents intertwined and contended with each other. The true dragon geniuses present felt a pressure that came from both their body and soul. What powerful eye bloodline power! The hearts of Tuoba Chi and the ghost-eyed man shook. Their eye bloodline power seemed to be suppressed by two mountains when Zhao Feng and the three-eyed saint clashed, and they couldn't raise their heads. Invisibly, the ball of golden aura represented the three-eyed saint's eye bloodline power, while the blue aura came from Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye. This continued for several breaths. This brat's eye bloodline power doesn't seem to be weaker than mine. The third eye on the three-eyed saint's forehead opened even wider. It was like a golden crack that could destroy anything at any time. Although his eye bloodline power was still rising, it couldn't suppress Zhao Feng. At this moment in time, all the peak existences in Golden Sun's sacred city were shocked. The aura from the clash between the three-eyed saint and Zhao Feng was terrifying. Those that had eye bloodlines felt it even more strongly. On the city walls of Golden Sun Sacred City, such a powerful eye bloodline has appeared outside of the three major bloodline families. A middle-aged, golden-robed man stood with his hands behind his back as he looked into the distance. Shock flashed through his eyes. The golden-robed man's appearance was similar to the three-eyed saint, and he also had a third eye on his forehead. He was the current head of the Golden Sun family and the three-eyed saint's father. This Zhao Feng is much younger than Shang Tian, but the potential of his eye bloodline is immeasurable. Furthermore, His left eye bloodline is very abrupt. It doesn't seem to be innate, but acquired. A sigh sounded next to the head of the Golden Sun family. An elder wearing a straw hat had appeared next to the head of the Golden Sun family. First elder, the head of the Golden Sun family, couldn't help but bow respectfully. He then asked curiously, "It's not innate, but acquired. Could it be a mutation or the eye-stealing technique? If it's a mutation, then it's impossible for a normal person without an eye bloodline to catch up to the strongest eye bloodline in the continent in such a short amount of time." The grass hat elder shook his head. Hearing this, the head of the Golden Sun family couldn't help but agree. No matter how a normal person's eye mutated, it wouldn't be able to become so terrifying in such a short amount of time. On the other hand, if a person already had an eye bloodline and then mutated, it would be much more difficult. However, the problem was only Zhao Feng's left eye was an eye bloodline, while his right eye was normal. It was more likely to be an eye bloodline that was acquired. Could it be the eye-stealing technique? The expression of the head of the Golden Sun family changed slightly. The eye-stealing technique is a forbidden technique that harms the heavens. It doesn't make sense for a normal person to take such a powerful eye bloodline. The grass hat elder denied it once again. At the same time, in the guest room of the Golden Sun family, Zhao Feng and the three-eyed saint's eye bloodline faced off, and they were evenly matched. Zhao Feng's eye bloodline can already fight against the three-eyed saint. The scene in front of them made the hearts of the true dragon geniuses shake. After all, the three-eyed saint was 2 generations older than Zhao Feng. In terms of age, they weren't even in the same generation. They were at least 1 generation apart. Zhao Feng, no wonder you're so confident. However, the strength of an eye bloodline is only the foundation of an eye bloodline technique. The third eye on the three-eyed saint's forehead became bigger and bigger. It was as if an invisible golden beam of light was about to pierce through heaven and earth, putting pressure on both the soul and the body. This three-eyed saint's eye bloodline seems to be able to suppress both the soul and the physical world. Zhao Feng's heart clenched, and his body felt heavy. His god's spiritual eye leaned towards the mental energy dimension. On the other hand, the three-eyed saint's sacred eye bloodline seemed to ignore the difference between the physical and mental energy dimensions. "The two of you stop," a cold voice sounded, and an invisible coldness spread across the area. See, the true dragon geniuses present all hiccuped and felt as if their blood had frozen. Goddess Bingwei appeared between Zhao Feng and the three-eyed saint. A crystal blue aura of ice formed an S shape and wrapped around both Zhao Feng and the three-eyed saint. Even the three-eyed saint and Zhao Feng seemed to freeze, and their eye bloodline powers stopped clashing. This goddess Bingwei has already reached the true lord rank, and her power of ice has reached a whole new level. Zhao Feng circulated a wisp of his bloodline power to dissolve the coldness that had entered his body. Under this situation, he had to stop fighting against the three-eyed saint. Although it seemed like Goddess Bingwei had stopped the two, the coldness she was using was targeted at Zhao Feng. If Zhao Feng continued to fight, he would most likely be pincered by the three-eyed saint and Goddess Bingwei. "Sister Bingwei, why are you doing this?" The three-eyed saint's eyebrows furrowed as he looked at Goddess Bingwei. Although Zhao Feng's eye bloodline wasn't any weaker than his, the three-eyed saint was confident that he could defeat Zhao Feng in one move. This wasn't just because of his sacred eye bloodline. Another reason was that he came from the Golden Sun family, which had the strongest eye bloodline in the continent. How could someone who didn't train properly be compared to him? Brother Golden Sun, we're the host. If we start fighting before the true Dragon Tea Party starts, it'll be a disgrace to all of us. Goddess Bingwei apologetically explained to the three-eyed saint and the others. As soon as he said this, everyone present agreed. There was also a small number of people who were dissatisfied with the three-eyed saint's actions. Participating in the sacred True Dragon Gathering was one's freedom. Zhao Feng could leave whenever he wanted. The three-eyed saint's provocation just then was indeed a bit like bullying. If it wasn't Zhao Feng, they would probably be humiliated by the three-eyed saint and lose all face. Sister Bingwei is right. As the host, I won't do anything before the tea party starts. I don't want others to think that I'm bullying the weak." The three-eyed saint smiled proudly. Zhao Feng stood still and couldn't help but look at Goddess Bing Wei thoughtfully. Goddess Bing Wei had considered everything. If the three-eyed saint won at this time, he wouldn't have the face to continue holding the tea party. If he lost, he would be utterly defeated. How would he have the face to continue holding the True Dragon Tea Party? More importantly, the three-eyed saint wasn't able to gain the upper hand against Zhao Feng's eye bloodline power. Otherwise, Goddess Bing Wei would have loved for the three-eyed saint to humiliate Zhao Feng. Just as Zhao Feng said, the tea party will be held in 3 days. Goddess Bing Wei smiled. Hearing this, everyone was surprised. The original plan was to delay the tea party for another 10 days. However, because of Zhao Feng's words, it had been changed to 3 days. This was giving Zhao Feng too much face. It could be said that Goddess Bing Wei had taken a step back. On the city tower far away, this child Bing Wei really put in a lot of effort to delay the battle for 3 days. This will give Sheng more time to prepare, and before the two fight, there will be many opportunities to test Zhao Feng's strength and increase Sheng's chances of winning. The head of the Golden Sun family had a gratified expression. After all, the battle between Zhao Feng and the three-eyed saint was related to the number 1 eye bloodline in the continent. Chapter 511. Goddess Bing Wei's compromise eased the anger of the true dragon geniuses. The new suggestion was soon accepted. "Zhao Feng, what do you think?" Goddess Bing Wei seemed to have forgotten their past grievances and asked. "Fine." Zhao Feng knew that Goddess Bing Wei was stalling for time, but he couldn't reject her. After the crowd dispersed, the three-eyed saint and Goddess Bing Wei walked side by side. "Sister Wei, I'm sorry." The three-eyed saint was slightly moved. Although he felt that Goddess Bing Wei's actions were unnecessary, he still felt grateful. Although the three-eyed saint knew that his chances of winning were high, and he didn't put Zhao Feng in his eyes, how could he not be grateful for what his beloved had done for him? "Brother Sheng, you need to prepare for this battle and take revenge for me." Thinking about how Zhao Feng had suppressed and humiliated her during the sacred True Dragon gathering, the hatred in Goddess Bing Wei's heart couldn't be suppressed. She needed to carefully plan this opportunity to humiliate Zhao Feng. She could not afford to be careless. In the blink of an eye, 3 days passed. Under Goddess Bing Wei's supervision, the three-eyed saint humbly asked the head of the Golden Sun family and first elder for advice. After all, when Zhao Feng faced off against the three-eyed saint, his eye bloodline's aura had been revealed. Evening. Near the Golden Sun Holy City, on a plain surrounded by mountains and rivers, the vacuum tea party started on time. What disappointed Zhao Feng was that Xian Wuheng and Yu Tianhao didn't appear. Xian Wuheng might have already died in the Heaven's Legacy inheritance, and Yu Tianhao hasn't appeared in the past half a year. Zhao Feng didn't have much hope. This tea party was similar to the Genius Summit of Sun Feather City. The difference was that the people attending were all geniuses that stood at the peak of the continent. The True Dragon geniuses were split up into groups of 3 to 5. Zhao Feng obviously represented the Canopy Great Country in the northern continent. Beside him were the geniuses of the northern continent. Apart from the geniuses of the True Dragon country, there were also Immo Tianyi, Song Yue, Princess Lin Yue, and other peak geniuses of the northern continent. Sure, Cheng Tian and Tantai Lan Yue sat on the other side. At the beginning of the tea party, the main topic was tea tasting. All the geniuses gathered together to discuss the cultivation techniques and secret techniques of the continent. They even talked about some of the inherited battle techniques of the Outer Realms. Zhao Feng listened with interest. Among them, the three-eyed saint was naturally the main character. He had been staying in the outer world for the past dozen years and had seen many things. The three-eyed saint would be able to answer any question the peak geniuses asked. His answers were usually direct. Zhao Feng couldn't help but admire the three-eyed saint. Whether it was strength, knowledge, or experience, the three-eyed saint surpassed the juniors in this sacred True Dragon gathering. To a certain degree, the three-eyed saint was no longer part of the younger generation. He was part of the older generation. As the discussion reached a climax, some practice and sparring began. The people who went up were all true dragon geniuses, and they were all elites who had survived the inheritances of the Outer Realms. However, dragon geniuses Tion true geniuses as challenges. We're all Chun. Shao. All dragon. However, several true dragon geniuses challenges ended in failure. However, the next challenger wasn't weak. Tantai Lanyue, let me see how much you've improved. Mo Tianyi's steps were steady as he walked onto the ground. After returning from the inheritance, Mo Tianyi had obtained great fortune and had reached the peak true mystic rank after some hard work. In terms of cultivation and inheritance battle skills, he was stronger than the overwhelming prodigies from a year ago. On the other hand, Tantai Lanyue hadn't reached the True Lord rank and was only at the half-step True Lord rank. Of the 5 overwhelming prodigies, Tantai Lanyue's cultivation was always half a beat behind. However, as a beast tamer, her main battle power was her spiritual pets. Come, I'm not afraid of any challenge. Tantai Lanyue was wearing a bright, colorful dress. Her skirt reached her knees, revealing her snow-white legs. She was delicate and moving, and her smile was like a dream. Boom! Tantai Lanyue waved her hand and summoned the horned earth dragon beast. After going through the inheritance, the horned earth dragon beast had reached the true lord rank, and its body, power, and defense surpassed others of the same rank. Mo Tianyi laughed faintly and didn't fear her at all. He punched out, and mountains flashed as he closed in on Tantai Lanyue. In terms of battle power, Mo Tianyi wasn't far from the true lord rank, and as a beast tamer, Tantai Lanyue didn't specialize in close combat. However, the current horned earth dragon beast battle power wasn't the same as before. Its roars shook heaven and earth, and its every move shook the earth. Even normal true lord ranks didn't want to fight the horned earth dragon beast head-on. However, since Mo Tianyi dared to challenge Tantai Lanyue, he obviously had something to rely on. Shua. Mo Tianyi's movement technique landed on the horned earth dragon beast body and left behind a blurry yellow figure. After coming back from the inheritance, Mo Tianyi's overall strength has increased. Offense, defense, speed. There's no obvious weakness. Zhao Feng nodded his head in his heart. Mo Tianyi landed on the horned earth dragon's back, using his agility and speed to his advantage. Every punch and palm was like a mountain, locking down Tantai Lanyue. As a beast tamer, although Tantai Lanyue had the advantage in cultivation, she didn't specialize in close combat and started to retreat. Everyone couldn't help but think, was the position of the 5 overwhelming prodigies going to be shaken? After the sacred True Dragon gathering ended, the 5 overwhelming prodigies had all returned from the inheritance, and their cultivations had increased greatly. Yu Qianhao, Zhao Feng, Shi Qingtian, and Shi Qingtan had all broken through to the True Lord rank. Yu Qianhao was the first to break through and was at the early stages of the True Lord rank. On the other hand, Tantai Lanyue was slightly weaker and hadn't reached the True Lord rank yet. Origin Magnetic Mountain Technique. The illusionary yellow mountain range in Mo Tianyi's palm suddenly released beams of translucent silver ripples that looked like the blossoming of an electric flower, creating a strange force field. Tantai Lanyue wanted to dodge, but felt her body being restricted by an invisible force. At this critical moment, Tantai Lanyue smiled. Ice glass snake. Shua. She waved her hand, and a small crystal snake flew out from her wrist. It spat out a sharp, icy aura and a terrifying cold aura that instantly dispersed Mo Tianyi's inherited battle skill. Shoo! Mo Tianyi just wanted to move when he felt something wrap around his hand, and a layer of ice instantly spread across his body. The ice crystal snake was extremely agile, and no one saw how it wrapped around Mo Tianyi's arm. A breath or two later, plop! Mo Tianyi's ice-like body was kicked onto the ground by the horned earth dragon beast. You think I'll only have one true lord rank spiritual pet after coming back from the inheritance? Tantai Lanyue waved her hand, and the ice snake disappeared back in her wrist. The true dragon geniuses present were stunned. Simply put, Tantai Lanyue had the battle power of two true lord ranks. The horned earth dragon beast was as large as a small mountain and was a strength-based meat shield. Normal true lord ranks wouldn't be able to fight head-on. However, the horned earth dragon beast's weakness was obvious. It was clumsy and easily countered by humans. But now, Tantai Lanyue had obtained another mysterious ice glass snake that could spit out a terrifying cold aura. It was extremely agile and specialized in close combat and ambushes. With one big and one small true lord-rank spiritual pet, Tantai Lanyue has no weaknesses. Zhao Feng knew that Tantai Lanyue's spiritual pets could definitely form an army. Of course, this was nothing compared to Zhao Feng's 100 Ghost Corpse plan. Zhao Feng had a total of 5 true lord-rank ghost corpses, 2 poison corpses, and 2 or 3 that he had refined in the past half a year. Less than half a day later, the true dragon geniuses all challenged Shi Qingtian, Goddess Bing Wei, and Tantai Lanyue. The result was that their challenges all ended in failure. Shi Qingtian and Goddess Bing Wei's strength was only stronger than Tantai Lanyue's. Bam! Shi Qingtian's bloodline and body had increased, and he sent Wang Xiaoguai flying with one punch. Sky Ape Divine Luo. Wang Xiaoguai roared unwillingly and furiously attacked Shi Qingtian. Shi Qingtian laughed, and his body was like a stone giant as he took Wang Xiaoguai's attacks head-on. After a series of attacks, Wang Xiaoguai's head was bleeding while Shi Qingtian was completely unharmed. He basically didn't even retaliate. Those below the peak true lord rank will find it hard to break through Shi Qingtian's defense. Zhao Feng confirmed that Shi Qingtian's defense and power were the strongest present. One had to know that Wang Xiaoguai was the strongest genius in the Canopy Great Country apart from Zhao Feng. Goddess Bing Wei's actions also shocked the geniuses present. She had easily defeated 2 or 3 peak geniuses of the same level as Mo Tianyi, and was even stronger than Shi Qingtian and Tantai Lanyue. Far away in the mountains, the head of the Golden Sun family and the Grass Hat elders stood on the peak and watched the battle below. At the same age, Sheng is slightly weaker than Zhao Feng and Yu Qianhao, but at most the same level as normal, overwhelming prodigies. The Grass Hat elder's expression was solemn. But not every peerless genius can grow up like Sheng. The head of the Golden Sun family smile was cold. The tea party of the true dragon lasted for half a day. None of the overwhelming prodigies were defeated. Tantai Lanyue, Shi Qingtian, and Goddess Bing Wei all displayed battle power that surpassed normal true dragon geniuses. However, until one person made a move and broke this legend. It was Zhang Yiyue. After coming out of the Seven-Sword inheritance, Zhang Yiyue's cultivation had reached the half-step true lord rank. Her first opponent was Tantai Lanyue. In this battle, the cold and domineering sword intent seemed to have permeated the surrounding void. The spectators felt as if their souls were being penetrated and pierced. The battle lasted for 50 rounds. The horned earth dragon beast was injured and had fainted from the sword intent. 7-sword inheritance. Your sword intent has reached a level that can suppress those at the true lord rank. Tantai Lanyue's face was pale white, and there were several bloody gashes on her body. If this continued, her spiritual pets would be in danger, and she could only admit defeat. Zhang Yiyue won. After that, she challenged Goddess Bing Wei and Shi Qingtian, the 2 prodigies. After a series of dangerous battles, the victor was not decided within 100 moves. In reality, if it wasn't for the fact that Shi Qingtian and Goddess Bing Wei's defense was strong, they might have lost at Zhang Yiyue. Without a doubt, Zhang Yiyue had become the new, overwhelming prodigy and replaced Tantai Lanyue. The true dragon geniuses and spectators from all over the continent were excited as they witnessed this miracle. However, the other 3 overwhelming prodigies had all been challenged. Only Zhao Feng hadn't been challenged. No one had challenged Zhao Feng yet. More accurately speaking, no one dared to challenge him. Chapter 512. Goddess Bing Wei's eyebrows furrowed, and worry flashed in her eyes as she glanced at Zhao Feng. The tea gathering had reached its later stage. The other peerless geniuses and the experts of the first tier had fought one another. However, of the overwhelming prodigies, only Zhao Feng hadn't fought yet. Neither the geniuses of the first tier nor the normal true dragon geniuses had challenged Zhao Feng. However, this situation was also reasonable. After all, of the 4 overwhelming prodigies, Zhao Feng's cultivation was the highest at the early stage True Lord rank. As for the other overwhelming prodigies, Goddess Bingwei and Shi Qingtian were both at the early stage True Lord rank, while Tsang Yue was still at the half-step True Lord rank. They didn't have the fortune Zhao Feng had to break through to the early stage True Lord rank in one step. Thinking back to when Zhao Feng was only at the true human rank, he fought against an overwhelming prodigy at the true mystic rank. Now that he's reached the true lord rank, his cultivation has suppressed all the other true dragon geniuses present. The gazes of the true dragon geniuses landed on Zhao Feng with respect and even admiration. The gazes of the true dragon geniuses all moved away from Zhao Feng without any hesitation. Not only is Zhao Feng's cultivation stronger than the other overwhelming prodigies, his eye bloodline has swept through the last sacred true dragon gathering. The first-tier true dragon geniuses, such as Mo Qianni, Qin Kunwu, Taba Feng, and company were filled with wariness. The true dragon geniuses of the northern continent knew how terrifying Zhao Feng was. In the past half a year, Zhao Feng had shocked the Canopy Great Country and killed the older true lord ranks, becoming the deputy patriarch of the Iron Blood religion. This news had spread across the northern continent. If they challenged other overwhelming prodigies, they still had a sliver of a chance and could at least put on a good show. However, if they challenged Zhao Feng, they might be instantly killed without being able to fight back. Brother Zhao has been sitting there for a long time and no one has challenged him. Could it be that everyone here thinks he's the number 1 genius of the True Dragon sect? Goddess Bingwei slowly stood up, and her words were filled with provocation as she pointed the spearhead toward Zhao Feng. The True Dragon's number 1 genius? When these words were spoken, it was like a stone that stirred up 1,000 ripples, causing a great controversy. He didn't defeat the other peerless geniuses. He didn't defeat Yu Tianhao. What gave him the right to come first? The True Dragon's top genius? Even if I lose, I still want to experience it. It would be a great honor to be able to spar with the number 1 genius of the True Dragon sect. Everyone fixed their eyes on Zhao Feng. Goddess Bingwei faintly smiled. Her plan had succeeded. Most importantly, the title of number 1 genius of the True Dragon clan was placed on Zhao Feng's shoulders. I, Huang Tiankui, want to see the strength of the number 1 genius of the True Dragon clan. A true mystic ranked True Dragon genius flashed to the center of the field. Finally, the first person at the tea party dared to challenge Zhao Feng. Some of the True Dragon geniuses let out a long breath, as if they had been suppressed for a long time. This Huang Tiankui wore an azure battle robe and held a broken golden axe in his hand. His body glowed like a god of war. Although the golden axe in his hand was broken, it had a powerful battle intent that pierced through the clouds and into the universe. It's an inheritance axe. The battle intent within this golden axe is at least comparable to the peak True Lord rank. I didn't see Huang Tiankui use it in the previous battles. Exclamations came from the tea party. Although Huang Tiankui only had the cultivation of the early stages of the true mystic rank, the battle intent radiating from his golden axe was even stronger than normal True Lord ranks. The True Dragon's number 1 genius is enough for me to use this legacy battle axe that came from a foreign inheritance. Huang Tiankui's battle intent reached its peak, dominating the Sky River. The instant Huang Tiankui's axe slashed out, a surge of True Lord rank mental energy battle intent resonated with the heaven-earth yuan qi, and a blinding golden axe light dozens of yards long slashed through the sky. The powerful battle intent and inherited battle skills made everyone below the level of a peerless genius shudder, as if they were undefeatable. Zhao Feng stood still as his blue hair blew in the wind. Facing such an attack, he sighed, "What a powerful mental energy battle intent. Unfortunately, you haven't comprehended its essence yet." As soon as he said this, dang, a thumb-thick beam of wind and lightning shot out from Zhao Feng's fingertip and brushed past Huang Tiankui's golden axe. Woo! Huang Tiankui's body froze as the golden axe in his hand was sent flying by a powerful force. Dang! The golden axe fell to the ground, its battle intent dissipating, and a sigh of regret could be heard. How is this possible? Master said that if I use this axe at full power, I can exchange a few blows with a true lord rank. Huang Tiankui was slightly dazed. Before challenging Zhao Feng, he knew that his chances of winning weren't high and just wanted to show off his face at the tea party. If he could exchange blows with a number 1 genius of the True Dragon sect for a while, he would be proud even if he lost. However, he never would have thought that his full power attack wouldn't be able to beat a casual attack from Zhao Feng. Huang Tiankui, you relied too much on external items and didn't comprehend the essence of the inheritance axe. The three-eyed saint's emotionless voice sounded. Being the host, the three-eyed saint and goddess Bing Wei would often comment on the battles. At this moment, the spectators finally came back to their senses. Huang Tiankui had lost very badly. He's indeed worthy of being the overwhelming prodigy king. The hearts of the true dragon geniuses shook. Huang Tiankui's battle power was close to the true lord rank just then. However, even then, he didn't even have the ability to fight back against Zhao Feng. At the same time, Zhao Feng, it's reasonable that you defeated him in one move with your advantage in cultivation and intent. The three-eyed saint's expression was calm as he evaluated Zhao Feng. Everyone was surprised. Probably only the three-eyed saint had the right to comment on Zhao Feng. You're right. Zhao Feng's expression was calm, and he didn't refute. He wasn't interested in a battle of this level and wanted to finish it quickly. After Huang Tiankui's defeat, the true dragon genius's passion and excitement didn't die down. Some of them even went to challenge Zhao Feng. However, several true dragon geniuses were defeated by Zhao Feng in one move. It's my honor to fight the number 1 genius of the True Dragon sect. This time, it was Qin Kunwu, one of the first-tier geniuses. After returning from the inheritance, Qin Kunwu's cultivation had reached the peak true mystic rank, and his mental energy had touched the true lord rank. Make your move, or else you won't have the chance. Zhao Feng smiled faintly. He had some impression of Qin Kunwu. Back in the first stage of the sacred True Dragon gathering, Qin Kunwu and Zhao Feng were both first-tier geniuses just below the overwhelming prodigies. However, everything was different now that they had met again. I won't hold back against a king of overwhelming prodigies like you. Qin Kunwu took a deep breath with a complicated expression. He didn't think that Zhao Feng's words were arrogant. Back in the northern stage, he didn't look favorably upon Zhao Feng at all and argued with another junior martial brother. But then, he watched as the unknown youth turned ordinary into a miracle and climbed to the throne of heaven's favorite. 9-star sky extreme palm. With this thought, Qin Kunwu's eyes shined brightly and the chi of true spirit within his body started to boil. His palms moved and large palms of light shot through the air with a righteous aura that seemed to be able to sweep through the stars. In a short instant, Qin Kunwu seemed to have stars revolving around him that resonated with the heaven-earth yuan qi and even seemed to draw the power of the sun and moon. What a profound inheritance secret technique. It could draw the power of the stars and has battle power comparable to the true lord rank. The hearts of the true dragon geniuses shook. Even the first-tier geniuses felt pressured. The expressions of the overwhelming prodigies changed. It was obvious that Qin Kunwu was using a profound inheritance secret technique, and adding on the fact that his intent was extraordinary, he could fight against a true lord rank for a short period of time. Not bad. His intent is very compatible with nature. Zhao Feng nodded his head in approval. From this scene, it seemed that Qin Kunwu wouldn't be far from breaking through to the half-step true lord rank or even the true lord rank. Of course, he wouldn't go easy on him. Wind, lightning, tornado. A dark azure ball of lightning appeared in Zhao Feng's palm and started to expand, forming a tornado of lightning. Boom! The wind-thunder tornado instantly engulfed Qin Kunwu's attack in a domineering manner. Those vast hands of light didn't even last for half a breath of time before they shattered. The powerful lightning storm didn't dissipate, but instead it pushed Qin Kunwu back. Ding! 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 Qin Kunwu's face was filled with shock as he retreated. However, his body was scorched black. Wah! Under the pressure of the wind, Qin Kunwu spat out a mouthful of blood and his face went white. Seeing this, Zhao Feng waved his hand and dissipated the remaining power. However, even then, Qin Kunwu staggered and almost fell to the ground as he admitted defeat. Another one-move victory. If Zhao Feng didn't go easy, Qin Kunwu's life would be in danger. Another uproar broke out. Even someone as strong as Qin Kunwu had been instantly killed by Zhao Feng without being able to fight back. The hearts of the first-tier geniuses and the overwhelming prodigies were solemn. The other overwhelming prodigies might be able to defeat Qin Kunwu quickly, but it would be very difficult for them to do what Zhao Feng did. This Zhao Feng has already grown to such a level. Furthermore, he hasn't even used his eye bloodline yet. Goddess Bing Wei's heart shook. Up to now, Zhao Feng's strength was only the tip of the iceberg. It was hard to estimate his true strength. After Qin Kunwu lost, the three-eyed saint gave his evaluation. Qin Kunwu, although you lost, it's an honorable defeat because your opponent's cultivation far surpasses yours. This kind of suppression doesn't require any technique. This evaluation was clearly praising Qin Kunwu, but also faintly belittling Zhao Feng. In other words, Zhao Feng was just relying on his high cultivation to suppress the weak. His method of victory was extremely crude and lacking in technique. Zhao Feng laughed it off. Back when his cultivation wasn't as high as others, although he won many times, it was still difficult. But now, he liked this style of crushing his opponents with his cultivation base. It was easy and comfortable, and he liked it. After Qin Kunwu lost, several more true dragon geniuses challenged Zhao Feng. However, there was only one result for them. Instant kill in one move. Zhao Feng stood there calmly and defeated his opponent in one move every time. Even taking turns to fight him was meaningless. Chapter 5:13. In just the time it took to make a cup of tea, Zhao Feng had defeated more than a dozen true dragon geniuses in one move each time. The spectators from all over the continent were dumbfounded, and their hearts trembled in fear. How was this a spar? This was a one-sided slaughter. Zhao Feng stood calmly on the pothole ground. The dust had yet to settle, and he was still as calm as ever. At this point in time, the tea party was silent. No one continued to challenge Zhao Feng. Even without using his eye bloodline, Zhao Feng's battle power is at the level of an overwhelming prodigy and even surpasses normal overwhelming prodigies. The dozens of true dragon geniuses were stunned. Everyone no longer looked at Zhao Feng with pure respect, but also admiration from the bottom of their hearts. The blue-haired youth in front of them seemed so far away that they could no longer reach him. Goddess Bing Wei's expression became more solemn. From start to finish, Zhao Feng had defeated them in one move and hadn't been able to force him to use his eye bloodline. From the strength that Zhao Feng had displayed so far, neither Goddess Bing Wei nor Shi Qingtian had a high chance of winning. Time continued. There was still no one who challenged Zhao Feng. Shi Qingtian, Zhang Yuyue, and Tantan Lanyue didn't seem to have any intentions of fighting. Goddess Bing Wei was slightly anxious. It was fine if Shi Qingtian and Tantan Lanyue didn't challenge him, but they had both lost to Zhao Feng in the last Sacred True Dragon gathering. However, without an overwhelming prodigy, it was hard to see Zhao Feng's true strength. If no one continues to challenge me. Zhao Feng smiled warmly. The crowd was dead silent. Then, Zhao Feng's gaze suddenly turned toward the three-eyed saint. Since Yu Qianhao wasn't here this time, the three-eyed saint was Zhao Feng's only target. The change in Zhao Feng's gaze attracted the attention of the other true dragon geniuses. He was just about to issue a challenge when Goddess Bing Wei laughed. Zhao Feng, you've already fought more than a dozen battles. leave some chances for the other true dragon geniuses. Zhao Feng was taken aback. He gave her a slight nod and left the stage. After all, Goddess Bing Wei was the host of the tea party, and Zhao Feng couldn't forcefully disobey. Only after Zhao Feng left the stage did the true dragon geniuses let out a breath, and the heavy stone in their hearts was lifted. Once Zhao Feng was present, the other geniuses would have no chance. If Goddess Bing Wei didn't stop, Zhao Feng would most likely sweep through all the true dragon geniuses, and the tea party would lose its meaning. After a period of time, some of the true dragon geniuses that hadn't gone up yet went up and displayed their skills. Some of the battles were very exciting, and the crowd cheered. Even though Zhao Feng's previous battle had been a shocking display of power, it was still not enough to stop him. But every time he killed his opponent, there was no suspense, so there wasn't much danger. 10 o'clock at night. Tuoba Chi, one of the 3 Eye bloodline families, walked to the center of the field. Tuoba Chi. The hearts of the true dragon geniuses clenched. The successors of the 3 Eye bloodline families were all present at this tea party. The 3-eyed saint, Tuoba Chi, and the ghost-eyed man represented the 3 strongest Eye bloodline inheritors of the continent. Heavenly piercing eye. A cold light flashed into Tuoba Chi's eyes. Shoo! A bloody gash appeared on the face of a true dragon genius that extended all the way to his chin. If it had gone a bit deeper, it would have sliced through his throat. The true dragon geniuses present all took in a cold breath. Most of them couldn't even see the trajectory of Tuoba Chi's Eye bloodline. Only people like the 3-eyed saint, Zhao Feng, and the ghost-eyed man could see the trajectory of Tuoba Chi's attacks with their Eye bloodlines. Otherwise, even a normal, overwhelming prodigy would be killed by Tuoba Chi's sneak attack. A face-to-face battle is very disadvantageous for Tuoba Chi. Those peerless geniuses have strong senses, so they can defend themselves before Tuoba Chi makes his move. Zhao Feng understood the situation. However, even then, Tuoba Chi was almost unrivaled as long as he didn't challenge an overwhelming prodigy. As expected, Tuoba Chi defeated 4 or 5 true dragon geniuses in an instant. Even 2 first-tier true dragon geniuses lost to Tuoba Chi. Zhao Feng. A sharp light flashed in Tuoba Chi's eyes as he locked on a Zhao Feng and released a surge of battle intent. This time, his target was Zhao Feng. The geniuses in the tea party couldn't help but look forward to it. After all, both Tuoba Chi and Zhao Feng were famous for their eye bloodlines in the sacred True Dragon Gathering. Furthermore, Zhao Feng and Tuoba Chi didn't have a true showdown in the sacred True Dragon Gathering. That's good. I beat the ghost-eyed man in the sacred True Dragon Gathering last time. I'll be able to experience the other 2 Eye bloodline families at this tea party. Zhao Feng nodded his head faintly. Goddess Bing Wei's eyes lit up. This Eye bloodline battle should be able to test out Zhao Feng's strength. On the empty ground, Zhao Feng and Tuoba Chi faced each other from 100 yards away. Make your move. Zhao Feng didn't circulate his chi of true spirit and just stood there. A weird light flashed through Tuoba Chi's eyes. His heavenly piercing eyes' attack speed was extremely fast, and if the opponent wasn't prepared, even a true Lord rank would die. It wasn't like Tuoba Chi hadn't killed a true Lord rank before. Even an overwhelming prodigy would have to prepare their defenses when facing Tuoba Chi. However, Zhao Feng didn't do anything. Just this point made Tuoba Chi secretly admire him. However, his attack wouldn't show any mercy. This was because the opponent in front of him stood at the peak of the sacred True Dragon Gathering, and his talents surpassed dozens of generations. Heavenly piercing eye. Tuoba Chi didn't move as a sharp light flashed in his eyes. Shua. From such a distance, the invisible blade almost instantly hit Zhao Feng. Too fast. The heavenly piercing eyes attack was firstly fast and secondly invisible, making it impossible to see its trajectory. The instant the heavenly piercing eye was used, Zhao Feng felt a coldness on his skin. Ding! An azure arc of wind and lightning appeared on Zhao Feng's index finger, and as if by accident, it clashed with an invisible flash of light. Shua! The invisible light dissipated and a layer of silver runes could be seen. Using your hand to block my heavenly piercing eyes attack. How did you do this? Tuoba Chi was stunned. This was the first time he had met a genius that could block his heavenly piercing eyes attack with their hands. Tuoba Chi knew how fast the heavenly piercing eyes attack was. When unprepared, those under the origin core realm would find it hard to dodge and could only circulate their chi of true spirit to defend. Using one's hand to block was the same as dodging. Heavenly piercing eye, heavenly cloud pierce. Tuoba Chi took a deep breath. His eyes shone with a sharp light that condensed into a needle and thread. Shua, a transparent silver line, could be faintly seen piercing through the air and piercing through Zhao Feng's body. The sharpness of the attack this time was far more than twice as powerful as before. Even a true lord rank wouldn't be able to take it head-on with the sharpness of the metal element. Furthermore, this Zhao Feng didn't even put up any defenses beforehand. The three-eyed saint's expression changed. This heavenly piercing eye, heavenly cloud pierce, can pierce through the defense of normal true lord ranks. On the other side, the ghost-eyed man's heart shook. He didn't expect Tuoba Chi's eye bloodline to reach a whole new level. Shua, Zhao Feng's figure was pierced by the silver line without any suspense. A smile appeared on Tuoba Chi's face, but it froze the next instant. The pierced Zhao Feng figure disappeared and was replaced by a glint of wind and lightning. He used his movement skill to dodge my eye bloodline. Even if my mind can keep up, how can my body not do it? Tuoba Chi's eyes bulged out and he was dazed. Impossible! Impossible! Tuoba Chi struggled and shook his head. In theory, no one under the origin core realm should be able to dodge his heavenly piercing eye. Even if his mind could keep up, his body wouldn't be able to react and could only circulate his chi of true spirit to defend. How did he do it? The three-eyed saint was slightly dazed. If it was him, he wouldn't be able to dodge Tuoba Chi's heavenly piercing eye with his body. At most, he could use his eye bloodline to defend. I admit defeat. How did you do it? Tuoba Chi took a deep breath, stood on the spot, and raised his hands. It was obvious that this scene had changed everything he knew. He could accept it if Zhao Feng was at the origin core realm, but there had never been a sovereign younger than 30 in the continent. It wasn't even possible in the outside world. It's very simple. 2 words, prediction. Zhao Feng's figure flickered through the air and appeared in front of Tuoba Chi in a flash. Prediction? Tuoba Chi revealed a bitter expression. So that's how it is. Even though Zhao Feng had comprehended the wind lightning tablet and was extremely fast, it wasn't easy for him to dodge the heavenly piercing eyes attack. There was no point in dodging Tuoba Chi's attack. In that case, the only way was to dodge Tuoba Chi's attack before it was launched. It didn't matter if it was a second earlier or a second later. If it was a second earlier, Tuoba Chi's heavenly piercing I would lock onto him again. If it was a second later, the attack would have already been released. How did Zhao Feng predict my eye bloodline's attack? The three-eyed saint's heart shook. After all, Tuoba Chi's eye bloodline was one of the 3 great families of the continent, and it wasn't much weaker than the Golden Sun family. The way the heavenly piercing eye was used was extremely profound. The only way to do it was to control the slightest change in Tuoba Chi's eye bloodline. But was that even possible? The three-eyed saint's expression became solemn. Did Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye have the legendary prediction ability? According to what the three-eyed saint knew, the inheritances of the 8 great god eyes had a terrifying prophetic eye bloodline technique that could predict what would happen in the next few seconds or even longer. However, that was already at the level of looking into space-time. Even void god realm kings would find it hard to do that. Of course, the three-eyed saint was thinking about the legendary eye bloodline techniques. The prediction ability of Zhao Feng's god spiritual eye was based on his control and insight. Every change in Tuoba Chi's eye bloodline, including his chi of true spirit and bloodline aura, was under his control. This way, Zhao Feng could predict Tuoba Chi's next attack. Chapter 514. On the Tea Party Field. The true dragon geniuses were stunned. Some of their eyes were wide open with disbelief. The battle between Zhao Feng and Tuoba Chi ended like this. Facing the successor of the Tuoba family, one of the three major eye bloodline families, Zhao Feng didn't even use any offensive eye bloodline techniques. He didn't even counterattack. However, he didn't even use a single move, but the successor of the Tuoba family immediately admitted defeat. He directly predicted my eye technique attack. My heavenly piercing eye is useless against him. Tuoba Chi took a deep breath and admitted defeat. The heavenly piercing eye attack that he was most proud of had been dodged by Zhao Feng's body. What was the point of fighting? After the sacred True Dragon gathering, Zhao Feng has already defeated the successors of two major eye bloodline families. Of the three eye families, only the Golden Sun family hasn't fought with Zhao Feng yet. Doesn't that mean that as long as he defeats the three-eyed saint? At the tea party, the spectators from all over the continent began to discuss in private. During the sacred True Dragon gathering, Zhao Feng had defeated the Ghost-Eyed Man, who was also the successor of one of the three major eye bloodline families. And now, Zhao Feng had also defeated Tuoba Chi. Only one eye bloodline family was left, and it was the strongest eye bloodline inheritance on the continent. Thinking up to here, the true dragon geniuses became expectant. It could be predicted that the battle between Zhao Feng and the three-eyed saint would be unavoidable. As long as he defeated the three-eyed saint, Zhao Feng would be able to obtain the title of the strongest eye bloodline on the continent. This tea party wasn't just a stage for the true dragon geniuses. It was also a battle for the strongest eye bloodline. Jin Yang, Sheng Tian. Zhao Feng didn't enter the stage. Instead, he looked toward the host of the tea party, the three-eyed saint. A wisp of battle intent shot toward the three-eyed saint. At this moment in time, the spectators and true dragon geniuses were full of expectation. Many of them held their breaths as excitement flashed through their eyes. Zhao Feng challenged the three-eyed saint. Can the three-eyed saint keep his title as the strongest eye bloodline on the continent? Taba Feng, the ghost-eyed man, and company couldn't help but take a deep breath. Facing Zhao Feng's challenge, the three-eyed saint revealed a faint smile as he slowly stood up with confidence. The third eye on his forehead slowly opened, and it flashed with a golden light, making it seem like a sun that looked down on the earth. A supreme eye bloodline power covered the entire area. In that instant, the hearts of the true dragon geniuses shook and they couldn't breathe. Even the other prodigies couldn't look directly at the three-eyed saint's sacred eye bloodline. They felt like they were being burned by the sun, and their mouths were dry. A mere gaze was enough to make ordinary, peerless geniuses feel like they could not resist it. Just as the three-eyed saint stood up, the two strongest eye bloodline geniuses on the continent were about to engage in an unparalleled battle. Wait! Goddess Bing Wei's cold voice suddenly came between the two. Shua! A field of crystal-like icy blue frost chi, shining brightly, swept over, emitting a terrifying cold energy that could freeze blood. Zhao Feng's body froze. The aura from Goddess Bing Wei's body had reached the level of being able to freeze normal early-stage True Lord ranks. Goddess Bing Wei, what's the meaning of this? Zhao Feng's eyebrows furrowed, and he was displeased. This was the third time he had tried to challenge the three-eyed saint, and Goddess Bing Wei had interfered. The first time was when he met the three-eyed saint, and Goddess Bing Wei stopped him. The second time was when Zhao Feng killed more than a dozen true dragon geniuses and was about to challenge the three-eyed saint when Goddess Bing Wei stopped him. And now, this was the third time. Sister Bing, what are you? It wasn't hard for the three-eyed saint to guess Zhao Feng's intentions. Goddess Bing Wei's heart was slightly uneasy. No one has been able to find out Zhao Feng's true strength from the tea party until now. All of Zhao Feng's opponents had been instantly killed. As for the other two overwhelming prodigies, they hadn't challenged Zhao Feng due to various reasons. Sure, Qing Tian had lost to Zhao Feng back then, and he had a good relationship with Zhao Feng. Song Yuyue, the new overwhelming prodigy. Her sword Dao attacks became stronger the stronger she was. Goddess Bing Wei originally thought that Song Yuyue would challenge Zhao Feng. However, what disappointed her was that although Song Yuyue wanted to battle Zhao Feng, she didn't challenge him. Goddess Bingwei obviously didn't know that Song Yuyue had already lost to Zhao Feng back in the cloud area. The two weren't even on the same level. Even though Song Yuyue's comprehension of the Tao of the sword had increased, she didn't have any confidence in beating Zhao Feng. In other words, the three overwhelming prodigies present had all lost to Zhao Feng. Oomph. I'll attack whoever tries to stop me. The chi of wind, lightning, true spirit within Zhao Feng's body started to circulate at a high speed, and an azure ripple of wind lightning swept across dozens of yards. Shua! The ice from Goddess Bingwei's body was instantly destroyed, leaving behind a patch of black smoke. Goddess Bingwei harumphed as her jade-like body went numb. An invisible pressure made it hard for her to breathe. At this moment, the power of wind lightning from Zhao Feng had reached a terrifying level that normal True Lord ranks couldn't compare to. Zhao Feng, our battle in the sacred True Dragon gathering a year ago hasn't ended. Goddess Bingwei's chi of true spirit almost started to burn as a layer of ice appeared on her skin. In an instant, her aura skyrocketed and reached the peak True Lord rank in just a few breaths. What secret technique is this? Her entire body is turned into ice. The true dragon geniuses felt as if their bodies had been frozen and they started to tremble. The entire area was frozen by the cold air. Some of the weaker spectators had their teeth chattering and they couldn't even move their bodies. Mystic crystal battle body. Goddess Bingwei's skin turned into ice. She was like an ice goddess in a world of ice and snow. Her every move resonated with the coldness of nature. With this secret art, her defense would surpass Shi Qingtian's. Even Song Yue probably couldn't break through her defense head-on, at least not in the physical level. Under the mystic crystal battle body, my every move has the ability to freeze normal True Lord ranks. Zhao Feng, I don't believe you can hold back and not use your eye bloodline technique. Goddess Bingwei's face was cold, and her killing intent seemed to materialize. Who? She waved her hand, and an icy blue cold flame appeared in her hand. It danced like an ice phoenix, and the surrounding cold air formed a powerful icy tornado that engulfed everything within a radius of half a mile. Goddess Bingwei's current state caused the expressions of the other overwhelming prodigies to change dramatically. Even the three-eyed saint was surprised. Goddess Bingwei's current battle power was unparalleled under the peak True Lord rank. Normal True Lord ranks wouldn't even be able to break through the mystic crystal battle body's defense. They might even be frozen if they got close. Shoo! The ripples of wind and lightning around Zhao Feng were slowly eroded by the ice. Zhao Feng's body was almost covered in a layer of frost from the icy tornado created by the ice blue cold flames. Goddess Bingwei, you're willing to pay the price to use a secret technique that harms your foundation. You just want to test my True Lord rank strength? A cold smile appeared on Zhao Feng's face. Ice water transformation. Zhao Feng's entire body was covered in a layer of rippling water. The blue water suddenly surged, extending for several dozen zhong, as deep as the ocean. Bo! All the attacks that got close to Zhao Feng were like stones sinking into the ocean. If Goddess Bingwei was an ice mountain, then Zhao Feng was an ocean. Shua! Water rippled around Zhao Feng's body, and he used a weird method to get close to Goddess Bingwei. Break! Zhao Feng's fist was surrounded by a layer of water, and like hot water melting into ice, it directly entered Goddess Bingwei's mystic crystal battle body. No! Goddess Bingwei's expression changed dramatically as she watched Zhao Feng's fist land on her chest. Crack! Pung! Zhao Feng's fist landed on Goddess Bingwei's mystic crystal battle body and exploded on her chest. Wah! Goddess Bingwei spat out a mouthful of blood as her body flew out. Her clothes were in tatters, revealing her snow-white skin and a pair of pure white peaks. Sister Wei, the three-eyed saint let out a roar and immediately tried to save him. He defeated Goddess Bingwei in one move. The crowd was dead silent. Many people took in cold breaths. That's terrifying. Goddess Bingwei was an overwhelming prodigy in that state, but she couldn't even take one move from Zhao Feng. Shi, Qingtian, Sang Yue, Tantan Lan Yue, and the other overwhelming prodigies were speechless. They felt lucky that they didn't challenge Zhao Feng before, or else they would only embarrass themselves. Defeating an overwhelming prodigy in one move. The eyes of the spectators almost popped out before they came back to their senses. Zhao Feng's expression was calm in front of everyone's fearful gazes, and he murmured, "I've finally gotten rid of the obstacle." On a faraway mountain, the head of the Golden Sun family and the Grass Hat Elder's expressions were solemn. This Zhao Feng's strength has completely exceeded our expectations. He came to the Golden Sun family with ill intentions. The Grass Hat Elder murmured to himself, "Looks like it won't be easy for Sheng to defeat him." However, no one can take away the title of the strongest eye bloodline in the continent. The head of the Golden Sun family's eyes twinkled. Right at this moment, the battle between Zhao Feng and the Three-Eyed Saint was about to start. "Zhao Feng, you actually injured Wei." His voice, which was filled with rage, was filled with frightening, killing intent. The hearts of the true dragon geniuses went cold, as if they had fallen into a bottomless abyss. The golden-haired male's figure was as handsome as a blade, and the third eye on his forehead had completely opened. It was like a dazzling golden sun that released a blinding light, and a surge of golden eye bloodline aura swept toward Zhao Feng. Peng Peng, Peng Peng, Taba Feng, the ghost-eyed man, and the other owners of eye bloodlines felt suffocated. Their eye bloodlines were being suppressed. Zhao Feng felt his left eye twitch, as if it was under some kind of pressure. Three-eyed light. A beam of light as dazzling as the sun, carrying with it a flame energy that could incinerate all things, pierced through the air like a meteor and engulfed Zhao Feng with a boom. Chapter 515. In that instant, within a radius of several hundred miles, one could see that dazzling streak of blazing rainbow light. The Three-Eyed Saint's third eye was like the eye of heaven, and it looked down on the ground. Boom! Zhao Feng, who was 100 yards away, was engulfed by the blazing light that seemed capable of incinerating everything in its path. What a dominating eye bloodline technique! The three-eyed divine light that's said to be able to break through all techniques. The power of this eye bloodline covered everything within 1 mile. The eyes of some of the eye bloodline geniuses, such as Tuoba Chi and the ghost-eyed man, trembled, and they felt like they couldn't breathe. Bam! Tung! Tung! Zhao Feng seemed to be hit by a powerful force, and his body was almost sent flying as he was forced to retreat. The instant he was hit by the three-eyed divine light, both Zhao Feng's soul and body felt heavy, as if they were being crushed by an ancient elephant. Ripples of water surrounded Zhao Feng's body, and it started to dim at a visible rate. This three-eyed divine light is a special attack that could destroy both the physical and mental energy. Zhao Feng's heart shook as he retreated. Wherever he went, he left behind a bottomless trench that emitted green smoke. The impact of the three eyes light was truly domineering. The blazing rainbow light could burn and annihilate all things. Whoosh! Zhao Feng's body was engulfed by the flames of the divine light and continued to burn. Zhao Feng's soul wasn't able to escape the flames of the three-eyed divine light either. This lasted for 2 or 3 breaths before Zhao Feng retreated half a mile. Only then did the three-eyed divine light's attack disappear. At this moment, the ripples of water around Zhao Feng's body had dimmed by half. A large trench was formed between the three-eyed saint and Zhao Feng. The shocking scene gave the spectators a great visual impact, causing them to be unable to calm their astonishment. No wonder it's worthy of being the strongest eye bloodline in the continent. It's strong enough. Zhao Feng's hair and clothes were disheveled, and he could feel a faint pain coming from his bones. It felt like he was being crushed by a huge force. Just now, it wasn't that Zhao Feng didn't want to dodge the attack, but that he didn't have the strength to do so. In fact, the three-eyed saint's attacks weren't as fast as the heavenly piercing eye. However, once the three-eyed saint's sacred eye bloodline locked onto him, the space where his mind and body would be permeated by the divine light. In that state, his body and mind seemed to have sunk into a swamp. As a result, even though Zhao Feng could see the three-eyed saint's attack trajectory clearly, he could barely dodge it. At the same time, on the other side of the trench, he's actually not injured. No one under the half-step primal core realm can escape unscathed from my three eyes light. The three-eyed saint's pupils constricted with shock. At least, on the surface, Zhao Feng's clothes and hair were messy, and there were no signs of injury. You should know, the three eyes divine light could destroy the body and mind at the same time, and it was said to be able to destroy everything. Those with a strong soul couldn't block it, and those with a strong body couldn't block it. However, the youth in front of him had easily done it. After the evolution of Zhao Feng's eye bloodline, his water bloodline had been growing, and it specialized in defense and healing. The three-eyed saint's three eyes divine light was a part of the fire of the sun, and it was slightly suppressed by Zhao Feng's water bloodline. As for mental energy attacks, Zhao Feng had always been able to ignore them. Furthermore, his soul wasn't much weaker than an origin core realm sovereign's. It's my turn. Zhao Feng's left eye suddenly turned azure, and a wisp of faint purple flashed within it. What? Switching between eye bloodlines. The three-eyed saint and the heirs of the other two eye bloodline families shook in disbelief. Normally, the element of an eye bloodline was already decided from birth. This kind of switching was only limited to some legendary eye bloodlines. In the blink of an eye whoosh, a translucent dragon-shaped ball of wind lightning shot toward the three-eyed saint as if it came from another dimension. Wind lightning eye flame. This was Zhao Feng's most explosive eye bloodline technique. It contained the elements of wind, lightning, and fire, as well as the aura of destruction. The instant the wind lightning eye flame hit him, the three-eyed saint felt as if he was in hell and was being burned by lightning. In terms of endurance, the wind lightning eye flame wasn't as strong as the three-eyed divine light, but it was more explosive. In this sense of danger, the three-eyed saint's third eye twitched. Divine light of destruction. A twisting beam of sunlight had a crystal-clear feeling. When it passed through the void, it gave the illusion of sunlight passing through glass. Whoosh! The divine light of destruction seemed to be both invisible and physical as it clashed with the wind lightning eye flame. A weird scene appeared. Shoo! The rampaging wind lightning eye flame was about to explode, but it was split apart, analyzed, and dispersed by the powerful blazing sun divine light. Its might was reduced by more than half. Boom! The three-eyed saint's figure shook as he was forced back several steps. His body and soul were being corroded by the wind lightning eye flame. However, after being disintegrated by the divine light of destruction, the wind lightning eye flame's threat to him was minimal. The three-eyed saint let out a breath as a faint smile appeared on his face. Zhao Feng's wind lightning eye flame was too strong. It could almost instantly kill a late-stage true lord rank. On the other side of the ditch, this is the three-eyed divine light of destruction. It can even split and analyze my strongest wind lightning eye flame. Zhao Feng's expression became solemn. The three-eyed saint's three-eyed divine light had two main types. The first was offensive and could disintegrate mental and physical energy. The second was defensive and could disintegrate all kinds of attacks, including eye bloodlines. Whether it was offense or defense, it could kill both the physical and mental energy world. This was also the reason why the Golden Sun family's sacred eye bloodline had reached the peak of perfection. On the other hand, most eye bloodlines had different attributes and attack types. For example, Zhao Feng's was more oriented towards the soul. For example, Qi Gui from the Black Cliff Palace was more oriented towards the Tao of Ghosts, and Tuobachi's Heavenly Piercing, I was more oriented towards the physical. However, the Golden Sun family's sacred eye bloodline had reached a high level of fusion between physical and mental energy. Zhao Feng, I didn't expect you to have the legendary ability to switch between eye bloodlines. However, no matter what you do, it's useless against the sacred eye bloodline of the Golden Sun family. The three-eyed saint's third eye shone brightly, and it looked like a burning golden crow as he circulated his eye bloodline power. Eye of illusion. Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye clashed with the three-eyed saint's third eye. In an instant, Zhao Feng's left eye turned into a bottomless abyss that radiated a fatal attraction. The three-eyed saint's heart shook. He was unable to resist the attraction. The eye of illusion represented Zhao Feng's mastery of mental energy. With the support of his soul and source of mental energy, even someone as strong as the three-eyed saint wasn't able to resist it. Shua. The three-eyed saint's consciousness blurred, and he entered a unique dimension filled with wind, lightning, and coldness. His body was bound by chains of lightning, and he couldn't move. Zhao Feng, your mental energy eye bloodline technique is indeed strong. A faint smile appeared on the three-eyed saint's face, even though he was trapped in the illusion dimension. Divine light of destruction. The three-eyed saint's third eye once again shot out a ray of light. Boom! The illusion dimension created by Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye instantly crumbled. The divine light of destruction could not only disintegrate attacks, but could also disintegrate mental energy. The three-eyed divine light destroyed everything. In the real dimension, Shua, Zhao Feng, and the three-eyed saint were still standing at the two ends of the ditch, as if nothing had happened. The spectators all held their breaths. Only Tuoba Chi, the ghost-eyed man, and a few others could understand the battle between the two eye bloodline geniuses. This Zhao Feng's mental energy is too strong. Luckily, I listened to Sister Wei's suggestion and brought 3 or 4 pieces of Soul Dao defensive equipment. This is already the limit of the Golden Sun family. Cold sweat appeared on the three-eyed saint's forehead. It was because of this preparation that the three-eyed saint was able to easily break through the illusion dimension, even though his mental energy wasn't as strong as Zhao Feng's. As I thought, Zhao Feng stood still as his blue hair blew in the wind. The Eye of Illusion's failure wasn't out of his expectations. The three-eyed saint had prepared 3 or 4 pieces of Soul Dao defensive equipment, but that was out of Zhao Feng's expectations. Zhao Feng, your biggest reliance is your eye bloodline. Your fate is sealed. The three-eyed saint stood proudly. At this moment, the other 2 eye bloodline inheritors, Tuoba Chi and the ghost-eyed man, also sighed. The three-eyed saint's sacred eye bloodline countered most of the other eye bloodlines in the world. Otherwise, the Golden Sun family wouldn't have been able to obtain the title of being the strongest eye bloodline in the continent. Three-eyed divine light, golden crow world incineration. The three-eyed saint's third eye released a 3-legged flaming bird that was shaped like a golden crow. It let out a faint cry and released a forbidden fiery aura that pierced through the air. This time, the power of the three-eyed light mystic technique had risen to a higher level. Before the attack even reached him, Zhao Feng felt as if the air around him had been pierced by some sort of power and burned. In theory, it would be very difficult for Zhao Feng to dodge this attack. This was because the three-eyed divine light had locked onto him. However, Zhao Feng didn't even think about dodging. Eye of Ice Soul shooting line. Zhao Feng's left eye once again shot out a half-transparent beam of light. Whoosh! The beam of light shot through the air and clashed with the three-eyed divine light. The instant they clashed, the Ice Soul shooting line was at a disadvantage. After all, the three-eyed divine light had the power of destruction and analysis. However, a bone-chilling coldness shot out from Zhao Feng's left eye, as if it was a limitless abyss. Within the dimension of his left eye, the lake of eye bloodline power gave Zhao Feng limitless support. Woo! That translucent dark blue cold rainbow released a layer of cold and beautiful crystal light. It actually stabilized in the air and continued to extend. Eye of Ice Soul freeze. Zhao Feng had already comprehended some of the essence of the ball of Ice Soul. Like invisible tentacles, the Ice Soul ray froze the oncoming three-eyed flame bird to a certain extent, causing its momentum to plummet. Chapter 516. In the air, a half-transparent ray of light intertwined with the golden crow's blazing divine light. In the first half-breath, the three-eyed saint's blazing divine light had the absolute advantage. Zhao Feng's eye-soul shooting line was about to dissipate. However, at the critical moment, a surge of cold energy entered and caused the eye of eye-soul to change. The deep blue cold rainbow was crystal bright and beautiful. The ice-soul cold energy was restrained and condensed, becoming even more stable. The three-eyed saint's blazing divine light seemed to freeze, and its momentum decreased. The ice-soul shooting line is focused on offense, but it's not very stable. On the other hand, the ice-soul solidification doesn't focus on offense. It focuses on freezing. In Zhao Feng's mind, the intent from the ball of ice-soul turned into countless particles that collided with each other. The ball of ice-soul contained many intents related to ice. In the past, Zhao Feng hadn't put much emphasis on solidification. However, facing the three-eyed saint's three-eyed divine light this time, the ability to disintegrate and freeze came in handy. Just like that, the two completely opposite eye bloodline techniques clashed in the air. They extended and contracted, and it was hard to tell which was stronger for the time being. One was splitting and analyzing, while the other was freezing. This was only the specialty of eye bloodline techniques. Apart from that, the three-eye divine light was more of the blazing sun element, while the eye of ice-soul was more of the ice element. The two were completely opposite in terms of attributes, and they resisted each other. The three-eyed saint's three-eye divine light has been blocked, but that Zhao Feng doesn't have the advantage either. The spectators held their breaths as their faces were filled with excitement. This battle was definitely a battle between the strongest eye bloodlines on the continent. The three-eyed divine light has been blocked by that brat. How can a measly azure flower continent have such a monstrous eye bloodline? The three-eyed saint's expression twisted as anger and unwillingness appeared on his face. Although Zhao Feng's ice-soul solidification wasn't as profound and complete as his three-eyed divine light, it was still a bit inferior. After all, the inheritance of the Golden Sun family's eye bloodline techniques had a long history, while Zhao Feng's eye bloodline techniques had been discovered and replicated by himself. There was a slight difference in their foundation. However, in terms of quality and quantity, Zhao Feng's eye intent was stronger than his. It was because of this, Zhao Feng's eye of ice soul was able to rival the profound three-eyed light that he had inherited on a distant mountain peak. What shocking eye power! Even Sheng pales in comparison to the quantity of his eye bloodline. Jinyang Shengtian's face was filled with shock as a trace of greed flashed across his eyes. This Zhao Feng's eye bloodline is indeed blessed by the heavens. Its source of eye bloodline power is immeasurable, and it can be switched. The straw hat old man sighed. As time passed, their expressions gradually turned solemn. In the air, the three-eyed saint's scorching sun divine light took up 2/3 of the distance, giving him a huge advantage. But in the next few breaths, the length of the blazing sun divine light gradually decreased. Think of the corresponding. The eye-soul beam from Zhao Feng's god spiritual eye was slowly increasing until it was half its length. When the two beams each took up half of the distance, the three-eyed saint didn't have any advantage anymore. From the looks of it, Zhao Feng's source of eye bloodline power was still increasing and pressing down on Jinyang Xingtian. This is impossible. The three-eyed saint gritted his teeth and circulated the power of his third eye. However, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't regain his advantage. Zhao Feng took up at least half of the distance and continued to press down on Jinyang Xingtian. 5/10, 6/10, 7/10. Seeing that Zhao Feng's advantage was becoming bigger and bigger. This Zhao Feng is a monster. His eye bloodline power is able to suppress the three-eyed saint. Tuoba Chi and the ghost-eyed man looked at each other in shock. At this moment, although the victor hadn't been decided yet, Zhao Feng's advantage was increasing. The scales of victory were slowly tilting towards Zhao Feng. When the ice soul beam took up 3/4 of the distance, the three-eyed saint started to feel tired. The three-eyed divine light was undeniably domineering. However, such a powerful eye bloodline technique also exhausted a lot of eye bloodline power. How is this possible? How is his expression still the same? The three-eyed saint couldn't believe it. On the other side of the ditch, Zhao Feng was still calm and collected. Why to know that? The strength of Zhao Feng's soul was comparable to that of an origin core realm. How could the three-eyed saint compare? If the battle dragged on, the three-eyed saint would definitely lose. Three-eyed saint, is the result of our battle already decided? Zhao Feng mocked as he continued to pressure the three-eyed saint. Hearing this, the three-eyed saint's face paled and became extremely ugly. His face was filled with rage. Indeed, before and during the battle, the three-eyed saint was extremely confident. Zhao Feng specialized in his eye bloodline and was destined to be countered by him to death. On the contrary, Zhao Feng had an overwhelming advantage in eye bloodline power, so he didn't underestimate him. Jinyang Xingtian, no matter who wins or loses, I'm here to humbly challenge the Jinyang family, the number one eye bloodline on the continent. Zhao Feng shook his head and said, "Humbly? Learn." The expressions of the spectators became weird. Although Zhao Feng's performance at the tea party couldn't be considered arrogant, it wasn't the same as learning from others. Humbly learning? Could it be? On the other hand, the ghost-eyed man seemed to think of something and his heart shook. On a faraway mountain. What game is this Zhao Feng playing? The eyebrows of the head of the Jinyang family furrowed. It doesn't matter what he's playing. If this continues, Sheng'er will lose. The grass hat elder rolled his eyes. Oomph. With me behind the scenes, how can Sheng'er lose? The head of the Golden Sun family snickered coldly. Shua. He sat cross-legged in a corner of the mountain peak, and the third eye on his forehead suddenly opened. Being the three-eyed saint's father, the head of the Golden Sun family's eye bloodline was similar to the three-eyed saint's. However, in terms of eye bloodline power, the head of the Golden Sun family far surpassed the three-eyed saint. Wang, the head of the Golden Sun family, placed his hands on his forehead, and a sliver of blood leaked out of his sacred eye. Wisps of fiery golden eye bloodline aura turned into threads that entered the air. That's right. You and your father are connected by bloodline, so you can use a secret technique of the Golden Sun family to transfer eye bloodline power over a certain distance. The grass hat elder nodded his head faintly. He wasn't surprised. In the next instant, the three-eyed saint's third eye released a golden light as a surge of eye bloodline power surged out. What's going on? What secret technique did the three-eyed saint use to release such a powerful eye bloodline power? The hearts of Tuoba Chi, the ghost-eyed man, and company jumped as they exclaimed. In just a short breath, the three-eyed saint's eye bloodline power had almost doubled. Wang, Zhao Feng's eye soul beam was about to reach the three-eyed saint, but it was pushed back by the blazing light. Zhao Feng was shocked. Shua, shua. As the blazing light was about to hit him, a gust of wind and lightning was left behind. Wings of wind and lightning. A pair of wings of wind and lightning extended from Zhao Feng's back, and the power of wind and lightning in the heaven and earth became active and created a barrage of lightning. At this moment, Zhao Feng felt like his body was as light as a feather, and the wings of wind and lightning resonated with the power of heaven and earth. He even felt like he was standing at the center of the wind and lightning world. So, over the past half a year, Zhao Feng's comprehension of the wings of wind and lightning had increased, especially after comprehending the intent of a sovereign. Zhao Feng, no matter how fast you are, you won't be able to escape my light. The three-eyed saint roared as the gloominess on his face disappeared. It was replaced with joy and excitement. At the critical moment, he received the help of his father's eye bloodline, and it was as if there was a river of eye bloodline power behind him. Three-eyed light. With the help of his father's eye bloodline power, the three-eyed saint once again circulated his sacred eye, and its power was almost double that of before. Zhao Feng suddenly felt an invisible eye bloodline power that could pierce through both the physical and mental energies, and he felt a burning sensation. Once he was locked onto, he wouldn't be able to dodge. However, at this moment, Zhao Feng laughed faintly and flapped his wings of wind and lightning. Countless small arcs of lightning flashed through the air and pushed the heaven-earth Yuanqi away. Bam! The wings of wind and lightning flapped, and Zhao Feng's figure flashed as he broke through the invisible eye bloodline power and disappeared. Boom! The three-eyed saint's scorching divine light mist. How did he do that? The three-eyed saint's expression froze in disbelief. Ever since he was born, this was the first time he had met a genius of the same level who could dodge his three divine eyes' light so easily. On a faraway mountain, what kind of secret technique is that? It seems to contain a sliver of the laws of space and allowed him to escape from the bloodline feast. The head of the Golden Sun family and the Grass Hat Elder were both surprised. Shua, with the help of the wings of wind and lightning, Zhao Feng's speed and agility increased dramatically, and he soon disappeared from the three-eyed saint's sight. Suddenly, the three-eyed saint felt a chill on his back. It was as if an invisible blade had sliced through his body. Azure eye-piercing slash. Zhao Feng's left eye turned azure once again, and the wings of wind and lightning flapped. He was like an ancient, demonic wind god of war. Whoosh! A half-transparent blade of wind slashed toward the three-eyed saint. Some of the geniuses present felt a sense of familiarity. The signs of the invisible sharp slash were extremely similar to the heavenly piercing eye. What's going on? This is the Tuoba family's heavenly piercing eye secret technique. Tuoba Chi rose to his feet with a shocked expression. However, by the time everyone realized it, Zhao Feng's azure eye-piercing slash had already been completed. Because he had merged the Wind-Lightning Emperor's laws of speed into it, the blade of wind was even faster than the heavenly piercing eye. Whoosh! The three-eyed saint couldn't help but groan as a bloody gash half an inch deep appeared on his back. Even though he had already used a golden barrier to protect himself, it was too late. Although the three-eyed saint could disperse this attack, Zhao Feng's azure eye-piercing slash was faster and more powerful than Tuoba Chi's. Furthermore, the timing was perfect, and it struck the three-eyed saint's weak spot from behind. Chapter 517. Shu. The three-eyed saint's back was sliced open by the blade of wind and blood splattered. Its sharpness and speed had surpassed the dodging limit of a true lord rank. Why does this move look like the heavenly piercing eye? The true dragon geniuses present felt a sense of déjà vu. Even Tuoba Chi sprang to his feet in shock and confusion. At this moment in time, Tuoba Chi's heavenly piercing eye had been successfully copied by Zhao Feng, and its power and speed far surpassed the original heavenly piercing eye. That's right, it's this copied ability. The ghost-eyed man's heart shook. Back at the Sacred True Dragon Gathering, Zhao Feng had copied the theory of his ghost eye flame and created the lightning fire god's eye, which turned into the wind lightning eye flame. And now, this copying ability had appeared once again on Zhao Feng. The ghost-eyed man didn't believe that the azure eye-piercing slash that Zhao Feng cultivated was so similar to the heavenly piercing eye. The only difference between the azure eye-piercing slash and the heavenly piercing eye was the element of the eye. The former was of the wind element, while the latter was of the metal element. The similarity was the sharpness and the sharpness. When did he learn my heavenly piercing eye? Tuoba Chi was shocked and bewildered. However, now wasn't the time for him to ask questions. Zhao Feng and the three-eyed saint had already gained the upper hand. Furthermore, Zhao Feng's advantage was his heavenly piercing eye. Tuoba Chi felt bitter in his heart. He had lost to Zhao Feng in the first place, and the heavenly piercing eye was even more powerful in Zhao Feng's hands. Heavenly piercing eye? He's even learned the Tuoba family's eye bloodline technique? The three-eyed saint suppressed the pain in his back. In the past, of the three great eye bloodline clans, the only one he was wary of was the heavenly piercing eye. This was because the heavenly piercing eye was too fast. At this moment in time, in his heart, Zhao Feng wasn't just a normal enemy, but a nightmare. In reality, the three-eyed saint could be considered to have lost. If it wasn't for his father's help, the three-eyed saint wouldn't have been able to last until now. On a distant mountain peak, this kid has the specialty of the Wu's and Tuoba's bloodline pupil techniques, as well as his own phantom pupil technique and ice pupil technique. The head of the Golden Sun family took a deep breath. In terms of the diversity of his eye bloodline, Zhao Feng was able to use it flexibly in different situations. Adding on the fact that his eye bloodline power was extremely strong, he was able to utilize this advantage even more. Under such circumstances, the only thing the head of the Golden Sun family could do was try his best to support his son. Unfortunately, the transfer of eye bloodline power will be slightly weakened due to the distance. The old man in the straw hat sighed. The three-eyed saint could only absorb 60% of the head of the Golden Sun family's power. Even so, the three-eyed saint's eye bloodline power had almost doubled. However, the outcome of the battle was no longer a contest of eye bloodline power. Three-eyed divine light. A blinding light shot through the air and locked onto Zhao Feng once more. Bam! Shwa! The wings of wind and lightning on Zhao Feng's back flapped as he dodged the three-eyed saint's attack once more. Azure Eye Piercing Slash. Wind Lightning Eye Flame. Zhao Feng's lightning-fast attacks made the three-eyed saint fluster. The three-eyed saint barely managed to block the Azure Eye Piercing Slash, but he didn't have enough time to break through the wind lightning eye flame. His clothes and hair were in a mess as he gritted his teeth and counterattacked. Three-eyed divine light, bright sun, heavenly star. The third eye that glowed with a golden light was like a blazing sun crow, and the blazing flames of the sun raged violently like a volcano erupting. It shot out a myriad of golden rays of the sun, and it carried an aura of obliteration. Boom! The ground within a mile started to shake and dust rose. Tens of thousands of blazing golden sunspots whistled through the starry sky and landed on the ground. Every time one of them hit the ground, it would leave a hole as big as a house. Millions of rays of golden light gathered together and seemed to be able to destroy the stars in the sky. It was a disaster. Furthermore, such a powerful attack was aimed at one person. Even a half-step primal core realm cultivator would retreat when facing such an attack, not wanting to take it head-on. Bright sun, heavenly star. It's this move. Shung'er, are you crazy? If you're not at the half-step origin core realm, using this move will harm your sacred eye bloodline. The expression of the head of the Golden Sun family changed dramatically as he sighed. The stronger the eye bloodline, the more burden it would place on the eye bloodline. For example, Zhao Feng's wind lightning eye flame couldn't be used more than 3 times in a row, and that was only because his eye bloodline was strong. The three-eyed saint's celestial sacred sun was a forbidden technique that he could barely use with the help of his father's eye power. It was enough to instantly destroy a force like the Broken Moon Clan. Boom! The True Dragon Tea Party's area shook as if mountains were collapsing. The spectators turned pale with fright. Under the horrifying golden sun rain, they felt as if they were ants trying to survive. Luckily, the range of that attack was only half a mile around Zhao Feng. Otherwise, more than half of the spectators nearby would be injured or killed. What a powerful attack! The wings of wind and lightning on Zhao Feng's back fluttered as he tried to escape. Bo! Zhao Feng's body was surrounded by a layer of blue water, and the occasional scorching golden spot that brushed past him was absorbed as much as possible. Shwa! A faint purple aura suddenly surrounded the wings of wind and lightning, and Zhao Feng's speed reached a whole new level. This faint purple aura was the purple wind lightning from the Wind Lightning Stone Tablet. Even just a wisp of it could increase one's speed. Whoosh! In just 1 or 2 blinks of an eye, Zhao Feng arrived near the clouds. The sun heavenly stars didn't pose much of a threat to Zhao Feng. On the other hand, the spectators on the ground were caught up in the shockwaves of the eye technique. Cries of alarm rang out, and dust billowed. Speed, looks like it'll be very difficult for Shung'er to win this battle. The grass hat elder sighed. If it was a normal 3-eye divine light, Zhao Feng might be able to dodge it. However, Zhao Feng's bright sun, heavenly star, flashed past it in an instant. There was nothing he could do about it. Of course, the grass hat elder could tell that Zhao Feng was able to dodge this attack, not only because of his speed, but also because of his keen senses and judgment. Zhao Feng had already sensed the three-eyed saint's attack and was prepared for it. Facing such a terrifying opponent, the three-eyed saint had unparalleled insight, judgment, speed, and eye bloodline techniques. The three-eyed saint's chances of winning were minuscule. Even if he can't win, Sheng-Er just needs to defend with the divine light of destruction and my eye bloodline power. The Golden Sun's sacred lord gritted his teeth and said unwillingly. He immediately told the three-eyed saint his plan through their eye bloodline. This is the only way. I have to keep the title of the strongest eye bloodline on the continent. The three-eyed saint's heart dropped. His personal victory wasn't important, but he represented the Golden Sun family's most talented genius in the past 1,000 years and had a sacred eye bloodline that was only weaker than the three-eyed heavenly emperor. If he lost, the title of the strongest eye bloodline on the continent would probably change hands. Unknowingly, the Golden Sun's sacred lord and the three-eyed saint's demands kept on dropping. At the beginning, they wanted to defeat Zhao Feng no matter what. Up until now, being able to guarantee that he wouldn't lose was already his greatest hope. Zhao Feng, the battle of eye bloodline techniques between us is of great significance. Even if you win, what's the point of dodging like this? The three-eyed saint took a deep breath as he looked at the blue-haired youth. Zhao Feng was still unharmed. Even when he broke through to the sun heavenly star, his speed and defense had reached the limits of the true Lord rank. In terms of speed and defense, he had reached the limit of the true Lord rank and had even broken through. Good, good. Zhao Feng faintly smiled and said two good words. Shua. His figure quickly descended, and his left eye switched to the azure pupil state. Wang, layers of azure light surrounded Zhao Feng's left eye, and it became bright like an azure moon. That's... Tuoba and the ghost-eyed man's hearts shook as they looked at Zhao Feng's left eye. The moon form of Zhao Feng's left eye matched the three-eyed saint's sun form better. At this moment, the eye bloodline power condensed in Zhao Feng's left eye was stronger than ever. Although it couldn't surpass the three-eyed saint's, it was extremely condensed and he had complete control over it. The inheritors of the eye bloodlines could see that the azure moon in Zhao Feng's left eye was formed from countless particles of azure light. What move is this Zhao Feng trying to use? The spectators held their breaths. Such powerful eye bloodline power. Is this Zhao Feng's true strength? The three-eyed saint and the head of the Golden Sun family were stunned. If Zhao Feng had used such powerful eye bloodline power earlier, the three-eyed saint wouldn't have been able to last until now. However, Zhao Feng hadn't done so. What was his goal? I've already said that I'm here to learn from you and challenge the continent's #1 eye bloodline family. A light and calm voice swept across the void. As soon as he finished speaking, a bright azure light shot out from Zhao Feng's left eye, and it glittered with countless particles of sharpness. Divine, light of destruction. The cyan light pierced through the clouds. The dust in the air was cut and split again and again. Everything in the world was minced and annihilated into dust particles. Before the sharp green light even got close, everyone felt a chill that pierced straight into their bodies and souls. The instant their gazes met Zhao Feng's left eye, they felt as if their eyes were being sliced into countless pieces. How is this possible? The divine light of destruction is a unique eye bloodline technique of the Golden Sun family. How did that brat? The head of the Golden Sun family, who was standing on a mountain far away, was dumbfounded. How does he know my divine light of destruction? The three-eyed saint exclaimed. At this moment of danger, he circulated his three-eyed divine light of destruction. Whoosh! In the horizon, a ray of light from the scorching sun collided with another ray of azure light from the cold moon, and it caused starlight that seemed like illusory bubbles to splash out. Chapter 518. Boom! The two similar rays of divine light of destruction clashed in the sky. Zhao Feng's divine light of destruction descended from the sky. It was a cold beam of light surrounded by countless tiny particles that could slice apart anything in its path. The three-eyed saint's divine light of destruction met the attack from below. It was a beam of light that could split apart everything, including the soul. The instant the two collided, the collision produced a five-colored starfire, and countless particles were annihilated within it. However, what was weird was that the two rays of divine light of destruction didn't completely devour each other. Instead, they passed through each other. This scene was out of everyone's expectations. Even the three-eyed saint was surprised. Whoosh! Whoosh! The two rays of divine light of destruction used up a portion of their physical power before passing through each other. The difference was, Zhao Feng's divine light of destruction was a physical attack, while the three-eyed saint's divine light of destruction could destroy both the physical and mental energies. At the peak of the mountain, wait! His divine light of destruction isn't complete. It only has the ability to split the physical world. The head of the Golden Sun family exclaimed. The complete divine light of destruction should be able to split the physical and mental energies at the same time. Zhao Feng, on the other hand, had probably copied this eye bloodline technique in a short amount of time and hadn't completely learned it. He only had the ability to split and analyze matter. This meant that Zhao Feng's divine light of destruction could only neutralize the three-eyed saint's physical power. It couldn't block the mental power at all. But at the same time, Zhao Feng focused all of his eye bloodline power on the physical dimension, giving him an overwhelming advantage in this aspect. As a result, such a scene appeared. The two rays of divine light of destruction only managed to cancel out a portion of it before passing through each other. Ha ha ha! Zhao Feng, you stole my divine light of annihilation, but you only learned half of it. The three-eyed saint couldn't help but laugh. It was obvious that Zhao Feng had only learned half of the divine light of destruction's profundities. The reason why the Golden Sun family sacred eye bloodline could counter most eye bloodline techniques was because of its ability to kill both the physical and mental energies. The divine light of destruction built on this foundation could basically break through all kinds of secret eye techniques. Half of the divine light of destruction is more than enough to deal with you, Zhao Feng said calmly. As soon as he finished speaking, the two beams of destruction divine light crossed each other. After a slight pause, they struck their targets. Not good. Isn't this a lose-lose situation? Some of the spectators turned pale. The head of the Golden Sun family and the old man wearing the straw hat, who were far away on the top of the mountain, became serious. A draw is also a good result. The old man in the straw hat stroked his beard. Everyone watched as the beam of light dimmed by half and landed on the three-eyed saint. The three-eyed saint gritted his teeth and circulated his chi of true spirit. A layer of golden runes appeared on his body to block the powerful, slicing power of the azure ray. On the other side, Zhao Feng calmly stood where he was. He didn't make any defensive movements, allowing the scorching sunlight, which was only a mental attack, to penetrate his body. Within the dimension of his left eye, waves appeared on the lake, and a mysterious whirlpool spun at a high speed. No matter how the scorching sunlight split and disintegrated, it would turn back into a hole. The situation was like a chainsaw stabbing into a tub of water. How is this possible? The three-eyed saint felt as if his divine light of destruction had pierced through a bottomless lake. Zhao Feng completely ignored the remaining part of his divine light of destruction. So that's how it is. The ghost-eyed man and Tooba Chi looked at each other and understood. As it turned out, Zhao Feng's divine light of destruction focused on the physical dimension, and his eye bloodline power was much stronger when it came to splitting and slicing the physical dimension. This way, the physical attack of the three-eyed saint's divine light of destruction was completely nullified by Zhao Feng. All that was left was the mental energy attack. However, Zhao Feng completely ignored the divine light of destruction, which was only a mental attack. This was the biggest advantage of his god's spiritual eye. However, his opponent, the three-eyed saint, didn't have the ability to ignore the divine light of destruction in the physical dimension. Sii, the three-eyed saint harumphed. The divine light of destruction that Zhao Feng had used still had 30 to 40% of its power left, but he had taken it head-on. On one hand, he had to use the divine light of destruction, and on the other hand, he had to use his qi of true spirit to protect himself. On the other hand, Zhao Feng, all he needed to do was to activate the divine light of destruction with all his might and perform the splitting and slicing of matter to the extreme. Like this, the gap between the two of them widened. Wang, countless specks of sharpness appeared on the azure light and sliced his body apart. In just 2 breaths, the three-eyed saint screamed as tiny cuts appeared on his body. I told you that I only need half of my divine light of destruction to beat you. A faint smile appeared on Zhao Feng's face. Indeed, he hadn't fully comprehended the divine light of destruction, and the mental energy attack was extremely complicated. However, Zhao Feng didn't need the other half of the mental energy attack. One had to know that. The three-eyed saint had 3 or 4 pieces of soul-protecting equipment on him. He knew that Zhao Feng specialized in mental energy techniques and had prepared them for him. If Zhao Feng used the divine light of destruction's mental energy attack, wouldn't it be a waste? Therefore, Zhao Feng decided to cut off the other half of the divine light of destruction and only use the other half of the divine light of destruction. It was like Tianji's horse race, hitting the three-eyed saint's weak spot. Break! Zhao Feng's left eye released an even stronger surge of eye bloodline power. Only now did he reveal his true strength. Wang, the cold moon azure rainbow that pierced through the void shone with dazzling light, becoming even sharper and colder. Arg! The three-eyed saint let out a cry. His body was a bloody mess with countless cuts. Whoosh! The three-eyed saint's body flew back and fell into a pool of blood. Zhao Feng stood in the clouds and looked down. He didn't kill the three-eyed saint. At this moment, the entire tea party was dead silent, and the sound of people taking in cold breaths could be heard. The ghost-eyed man and Tooba Chi looked at each other. The three-eyed saint's defeat wasn't just miserable. It was also a humiliation. He didn't lose to his opponent's eye bloodline, but to his own divine light of destruction. This made everyone remember what Zhao Feng had said. I'm going to challenge the continent's #1 eye bloodline family with a humble attitude. On the peak of the mountain. Humble attitude? The grass hat elder's face twitched. This Zhao Feng is very shrewd. He clearly has the advantage in eye bloodline power, but he's going to challenge him with such humility. I've already used my eye bloodline power on Shanger, but I was still 1 step behind. The head of the Golden Sun family said unwillingly. According to the plan, with his eye bloodline power supporting the three-eyed saint, the difference in eye bloodline power between the two wouldn't be too big. Under this situation, there was a high chance that they would end in a draw or both sides would be heavily injured. Who can you blame? He didn't lose because of the difference in strength, but because of his strategy. The grass hat elder sighed. Hearing this, the head of the Golden Sun family started to think, and his heart became heavier. Indeed, in the end, Zhao Feng's victory wasn't due to overwhelming strength. If he had replicated the complete version of the divine light of destruction, he wouldn't have been able to suppress the three-eyed saint. Zhao Feng's control of the situation was extremely clear. Firstly, he hadn't completely comprehended the divine light of destruction. Only using half of the divine light of destruction was more beneficial to him. After all, although the divine light of destruction was built on the element of wind, it was different from the elements of light and blazing Sunday. Zhao Feng had replicated the principles of the divine light of destruction and applied it to his azure god spiritual eye. Secondly, the three-eyed saint had prepared 4 or 5 pieces of soul-protecting equipment, so the physical dimension was his weakness. After a brief moment of silence, the tea party broke into an uproar as the geniuses discussed in low voices. There were too many factors involved in the battle between Zhao Feng and the Three-Eyed Saint. Only a small number of people could sense the head of the Golden Sun family hiding behind the scenes. After this battle, the topic of Zhao Feng's humble learning became a hot topic. Until now, most people finally understood why Zhao Feng challenged the strongest eye bloodline in the continent. Doesn't that mean that Zhao Feng has learned the secret techniques of the continent's three major eye bloodlines? Someone cried out involuntarily. Hearing this, the crowd broke out into chaos. Everyone was shocked. They sucked in a deep breath and looked up at the blue-haired figure in the sky with an inhuman gaze. On a distant mountain, he successfully replicated the three major eye bloodline techniques of the continent. Is this the true power of his eye bloodline? The hearts of the head of the Golden Sun family and the Grass Hat elder shook. Since Zhao Feng could replicate the principles of other people's eye bloodlines, any secret technique in the world could be copied by Zhao Feng as long as one's cultivation was high enough. This could be expected. After this battle, news of Zhao Feng's humble learning would probably spread across the continent. I've never heard of an eye bloodline like yours. I'm afraid that not many people will be willing to fight you in the future. The skeletal division leader's voice sounded through the Darkheart Seed. Zhao Feng floated in the clouds and felt uneasy as he faced the shocked, wary, and inhuman gazes. It's my honor to be able to spar with the strongest descendant of the Golden Sun clan at this tea party. Thank you, Three-Eyed Saint, for your teachings. Zhao Feng cupped his fists, a humble expression on his face. He then waved goodbye to the people below. He had reached his goal in the tea party, so there was no point in staying any longer. In this battle, not only had Zhao Feng obtained the title of the continent's strongest eye bloodline, he had also achieved his goal of secretly learning it. Wah! The Three-Eyed Saint, who had just sat down, spat out a mouthful of blood when he heard this. That damn brat. Preposterous. The head of the Golden Sun family, who was on the peak of the mountain far away, flew into a rage and roared. His voice faintly reached the venue of the tea party. The true dragon geniuses present seemed to hear something and looked in a certain direction with puzzled expressions. Bastard, do you want to lose face for the Golden Sun family? Black lines appeared on the Grass Hat elder's forehead as he pressed the head of the Golden Sun family onto the ground. It was fine if the Three-Eyed Saint lost. At most, he would lose the title of the continent's #1 eye bloodline. Although he wasn't #1, he wasn't bad either. However, if the world knew that the Golden Sun family cheated and was defeated by Zhao Feng, what face would they have left? Chapter 519. As the battle for the strongest eye bloodline came to an end, the tea party came to an end. Goddess Bingwei and the Three-Eyed Saint were both heavily injured and suffered great setbacks. On the tea party grounds, the true dragon geniuses and spectators said their goodbyes and left. Amongst them, the first to leave was none other than the king of overwhelming prodigies of the tea party, Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng left in a hurry, as if he had something urgent to do. Before most people knew what was going on, Zhao Feng had already left. What's going on with Zhao Feng? Why did he leave without saying goodbye? Prince Jean and company from the Canopy Great Country were puzzled. Mo Tianyi, Tsang Yiyue, Shi, Chantan, and company didn't even have time to greet Zhao Feng before Zhao Feng left. Many true dragon geniuses and people that knew him were waiting for the battle to finish to celebrate with Zhao Feng. However, Zhao Feng didn't give anyone the chance. He turned into a bolt of lightning and merged into the clouds. His speed was so fast that even the overwhelming prodigies couldn't catch up to him. Jiang Sanfeng. Did Zhao Feng have something urgent to do? Why did he leave in such a hurry? Mo Tianyi, Shi Chengtian, and company asked. Everyone's gazes turned toward Jiang Sanfeng and Dai Yi from the Iron Blood religion with Zhao Feng. Jiang Sanfeng and Dai Yi looked at each other and shook their heads with a bitter smile. Zhao Feng left so suddenly that no one knew where he was going or what his intentions were. Just as the two were puzzled, a voice sounded in their minds, "Go back to the Canopy Great Country with Mo Tianyi. I have something to do." At the same time, a similar voice sounded in the minds of Mo Qianni, Shi Chengtian, and company. It's Zhao Feng. Looks like he did have something to do and left first. Everyone looked at each other in disappointment. Zhao Feng had defeated the three overwhelming prodigies in the True Dragon Tea Party and the Three-Eyed Saint, who was ranked first in the True Dragon Tea Party 2 years ago, cementing his status as the king of overwhelming prodigies. At the same time, the title of the continent's #1 eye bloodline, which had lasted for tens of thousands of years, had changed hands because of him. Zhao Feng's future achievements were immeasurable. As long as he didn't die prematurely, he was destined to be a dominating figure who could decide the fate of the continent. Everyone would want to befriend such a heaven's-chosen king when they were young. On a distant mountain peak, the head of the Golden Sun family and the old man wearing the straw hat had solemn expressions on their faces, especially the head of the Golden Sun family. He was filled with resentment, and a hint of killing intent could be seen in his eyes. If the two of us work together, we still have a 60 to 70% chance of killing him. The old man in the straw hat glanced at the head of the Golden Sun family. Only 60 or 70%. The head of the Golden Sun family couldn't believe it. With his peak true lord rank cultivation and his sacred eye bloodline, no one below the origin core realm was his match. Even though the straw-hatted elder wasn't a martial highness, he was only half a step away from becoming a martial highness 100 years ago, so he was much stronger than ordinary half-step martial highnesses. If the two worked together, they could fight at least 2 or 3 half-step primal core realms. That brat specializes in speed and has learned the secret techniques of the 3 major eye bloodlines of the continent. If we don't kill him, the Golden Sun family will have to bear unimaginable consequences. The grass-hatted elder said. Hearing this, the expression of the head of the Golden Sun family changed. There was a certain amount of risk in killing Zhao Feng, and the consequences were unimaginable. Being an overwhelming prodigy of dozens of generations, Zhao Feng had the potential to reach the peak of this era. Even Sword Saint Yi Wuxia, the three-eyed heavenly lord, and company were weaker than him when they were the same age. First elder, please. The head of the Golden Sun family took a deep breath and hesitated. The consequences of killing Zhao Feng were too terrifying. Of course, the head of the Golden Sun family hadn't received any news of the Iron Blood religion leader's revival. If they knew that there was an origin core realm sovereign behind Zhao Feng, they wouldn't dare to do anything even if they were 100 times more courageous. The greater the reward, the greater the risk. It's just whether or not the risk is worth it. What benefit does killing Zhao Feng bring to us? You're the head of the Golden Sun family, so you decide. The grass-hatted elder's smile contained deep meaning. Hearing this, the head of the Golden Sun family seemed to understand something and started to think. Suddenly, a sharp light flashed in his eyes, and a heroic aura rose from his body. You've made your decision? The grass-hatted elder smiled. The head of the Golden Sun family took a deep breath. This Zhao Feng's eye bloodline is heaven-defying, and his potential is immeasurable. He's only 20 years old and has already gained so much. If we can use the eye-stealing forbidden technique to steal his eye bloodline, the future of the continent might be the Golden Sun family. Courageous. That's what a head of the Golden Sun family should be like. The grass-hatted elder nodded his head. Even the Golden Sun family only has an incomplete theory of the eye-stealing forbidden technique, and the success rate is less than 5%. However, even the smallest chance can change the fate of us, the Golden Sun family, and even the continent. At this moment, the head of the Golden Sun family and the grass-hatted elder had the same thoughts. If one wanted to achieve great things, they needed to be courageous and put their lives on the line. Chase, the head of the Golden Sun family and the grass-hatted elder turned into a golden and silver blur that shot into the clouds. Sacred Eye Insight. The head of the Golden Sun family opened his third eye, and everything within 100 miles could be seen. Even if Zhao Feng ran 10 times further away, the head of the Golden Sun family would still be able to catch up to him with his Sacred Eye bloodline. It was because of this that the two of them didn't immediately chase after him. He hasn't run far. He's still 100 miles away. The head of the Golden Sun family's Sacred Eye bloodline had already confirmed Zhao Feng's location. Their cultivation was dense, and their speed increased as they chased after Zhao Feng. The distance between the two of them and Zhao Feng was slowly getting closer. Wampala, a pair of wings of wind and lightning suddenly extended from Zhao Feng's back, and the wind, lightning, yuan qi in heaven and earth started to tremble. Zhao Feng's speed instantly rose, and wherever he went, wind howled and wind howled. Not good, he sensed us. This brat's eye bloodline is really terrifying. Don't let him get away. The expressions of the head of the Golden Sun family and the grass-hatted elder changed as they circulated their secret techniques to increase their speed. However, with the help of the wings of wind and lightning, Zhao Feng's flying speed was much faster than theirs. The two tried their best, but not only were they unable to catch up to Zhao Feng, the distance between them was even increasing. There's no need to rush. His flying technique shouldn't be able to last long. We've cultivated for at least 100 years, and our yuan qi is denser than his. The grass-hatted elder smiled calmly. That's right. The head of the Golden Sun family couldn't help but nod his head. In terms of endurance, the two of them were confident that they could beat Zhao Feng. Furthermore, the head of the Golden Sun family's Sacred Eye bloodline could chase after Zhao Feng. So, on the other side, Zhao Feng's flying speed was extremely fast, and he soon left the two behind him 100 miles behind. At this moment, dozens of miles ahead, there was a deep forest. Skeletal Division Leader. Zhao Feng seemed to run out of energy, so he slowed down and spoke. Are you sure you want to do this? The Skeletal Division Leader went silent. Zhao Feng didn't reply. He landed on the ground and walked into the depths of the forest. Within the forest, Shua, two blurry figures appeared on a tree. One was a black-robed female, and the other was a large figure wearing a crown. Especially the figure with the crown on his head, there was a layer of strange and twisted dark light surrounding him at all times. Elder, that brat's heading toward us, the black-robed female said. The Scarlet Moon Division Leader token has sensed something and is coming closer. The elder of the Scarlet Moon Division Leader looked forward. Ta-ta, ta-ta. The sound of footsteps came from ahead. They were steady and powerful as they got closer. It wasn't hard to see that the owner of the footsteps had a clear goal and was walking toward them. A strange light appeared in Elder Shadow's eyes, which were silent and dark. Elder, do you want me to take him down? The black-robed lady's entire body rippled with a wave of cold and dark blade energy. The air around her suddenly stagnated, and an invisible chill seeped into every grass and every tree in the surroundings. The Dark Shadow Elder didn't say anything. Ta-ta, ta-ta. The owner of the footsteps appeared in sight. It was a blue-haired youth with a calm expression, as if he was taking a stroll. The killing intent coming from the black-robed female was enough to kill anyone below the Origin Core realm, but it didn't seem to affect him. Brat, you dare to walk into a trap? Why aren't you giving up in front of the Scarlet Moon Elder? The black-robed female left behind a series of ripples. Shua, the blue-haired youth's eyes blurred as a wisp of cold blade aura wrapped around his neck. Finally, the blue-haired youth's footsteps stopped. If he moved again, the blade aura around his neck would behead him at any time. Zhao Feng's body was covered by the coldness of death, and he couldn't help but sigh. A servant-like existence had strength close to Lu Tianyi's back then. Blue-haired brat, why do you have the aura of the Scarlet Moon Division Leader token on you? Why aren't you kneeling to the Scarlet Moon Elder? The black-robed female was like a ghost as she stood behind Zhao Feng. Zhao Feng's expression didn't change. Even when he heard the words Scarlet Moon Elder, he still restrained the shock in his heart to the limit. Elder Jisha, I haven't seen you for hundreds of years. How have you been? Zhao Feng didn't bother with the black-robed woman. Instead, he looked at the shadowy elder who seemed to have merged with the world. How do you know the elder's name? The black-robed female was shocked. The elder wearing a crown couldn't help but let out a soft cry of surprise. You are. The two were surprised. This strange blue-haired teenager recognized Elder Wang Guan, who was shrouded in a twisted and dark shadow at first glance. Could it be that this youth was also from the Scarlet Moon demonic religion, or a descendant of the demonic religion? But if he was a descendant of the demonic religion, he shouldn't have seen the Scarlet Moon Elder from hundreds of years ago. Tsk Tisk, Elder Ji Sha, who recruited you into the Scarlet Moon demonic religion and recommended you to the Patriarch. 300 years ago, when you and Protector Ironbones were being chased by Sword Saint Yi Wuxia, who came to help you. Zhao Feng licked his lips. Zhao Feng didn't hesitate to say these words in one breath. The black-robed female who was holding Zhao Feng from behind exclaimed. From his tone, this blue-haired youth seemed to have a great background and seemed to be very familiar with Elder Ji Sha. He was at least at the same level as the upper echelons of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. Your division leader Yogu. Elder Ji Sha's body, which was in the distorted shadow, trembled slightly. A hint of joy appeared in his eyes. Chapter 520. In the depths of the forest. Zhao Feng and Elder Destruction looked at each other, and a faint smile appeared on their faces. The crown on Elder Destruction's head made him look like a dark shadow in the night sky. You really are division leader Yogu, weren't you? There was a hint of joy on Elder Terminator's face. Zhao Feng chuckled. Even you managed to survive until now. So how could I have died in that great calamity? Hearing this, the heart of the black-robed beauty that was holding Zhao Feng shook, and her hands started to tremble as she revealed an uneasy expression. She never would have thought that this youth that wasn't even 20 years old was one of the division leaders of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. In the Scarlet Moon demonic sect, every hallmaster was a powerhouse that ruled over an area. At the peak of the demonic religion, a single division could fight against the 10 great sects of the continent. The status of a division leader was on par with an elder of the demonic religion. Division leader Yogu, how did you become like this? A trace of puzzlement appeared in Elder Terminator's dark and silent eyes. There was still a trace of cautious doubt in him. Shua! Zhao Feng waved his hand, and a terrifying human-shaped skeleton appeared with 2 balls of fire in its eye sockets. My old bones can't take it anymore. It's not a bad choice to possess this peerless prodigy with the highest potential and bloodline and try to reconstruct his body. Zhao Feng said. The red flames in the skeletal division leader's eye sockets seemed to be dazed, but it didn't say anything. Through the dark heart seed, there was a profound connection between Zhao Feng and the skeletal division leader. It was as if the skeletal division leader's mind was completely on Zhao Feng, and it was controlling this prodigy. So that's how it is. The majority of Elder Destruction's doubt disappeared. With Zhao Feng purposely leaking it, it wasn't hard for Elder Destruction to see the mental energy connection between Zhao Feng and the skeletal division leader. However, Elder Terminator would never have thought that Zhao Feng, this newcomer, was the true controlling side. Even someone as strong as the division leader of the Scarlet Moon Division was the one being enslaved. Hallmaster Yogu, your attainments in the Tao of Psychic Ghosts could be said to be the best in the continent. Why haven't you completely taken over this kid's body? On the other hand, Elder Terminator sneered. From his point of view, with the skeletal division leader's mastery of the Tao of the soul and mental energy, it shouldn't be too hard for it to take over a junior's body. Humph, that's easy for you to say. This brat is an overwhelming prodigy of dozens of generations and swept the sacred True Dragon Gathering. Not long ago, his eye bloodline defeated the strongest successor of the Golden Sun family in 1,000 years. Zhao Feng snickered coldly and spoke in the skeletal division leader's tone. Subsequently, from the skeletal division leader's point of view, Zhao Feng told the skeletal division leader everything that had happened in the past year. After Elder Terminator and the black-robed woman heard this, they looked at Zhao Feng in surprise. Only now did the two realize that this blue-haired youth controlled by Hallmaster Yogu had such a strong background. They were especially shocked that Zhao Feng's eye bloodline had defeated the strongest successor of the Golden Sun family in 1,000 years and won the title of the strongest eye bloodline in the continent. This youth's talent and bloodline are so strong. Even the successor of the Golden Sun family was crushed by him. Elder Terminator was slightly envious that the Skeletal Division leader was able to take over such a body. Being able to do this meant that Zhao Feng's talent and bloodline had definitely surpassed the Scarlet Moon Religion Patriarch and Sword Saint Yu Wuxia. You should be able to sense how strong this brat's mental energy source is. I've only awakened a year or two ago, and am still extremely weak. It's already a miracle that I was able to enslave him. Zhao Feng sighed. Hearing this, Elder Terminator nodded his head and didn't have any more questions. Although Zhao Feng's source of mental energy was hidden, Elder Terminator could still sense a bit of it with his level of cultivation. Shua! Zhao Feng waved his hand and put the Skeletal Division leader away, then said, My original body is still very weak. I'll take over this brat's body after I recover my strength. Elder Terminator and the black-robed woman didn't suspect anything. At this point in time, their thoughts had completely changed, and they treated Zhao Feng as the Skeletal Division leader. Division leader, what's the relationship between you and those two people? The black-robed woman asked respectfully. At the same time, she was on guard as she looked at the two figures in the distant sky who were chasing after her. It's that brat who defeated the strongest successor of the Golden Sun family and took the title of the strongest eye bloodline in the continent. Zhao Feng's mouth twitched. Oof. After several hundred years, the Golden Sun family is still so shameless. Elder Terminator snickered coldly. Right at this moment, so. The head of the Golden Sun family and the Grass Hat Elder looked down from above. Be careful of sneak attacks. After all, this brat has mastered one of the three major eye bloodlines. The Grass Hat Elder warned. The head of the Golden Sun family didn't dare to be careless and scanned the area below with his third eye. Soon, the head of the Golden Sun family saw Zhao Feng and a black-robed woman. He was slightly surprised that the black-robed woman had reached the peak True Lord rank. And a measly peak True Lord rank isn't worth worrying about. Under normal situations, I can instantly kill him with my eye bloodline. The head of the Golden Sun family's sacred eye quickly scanned over the forest but didn't find anything else. The Grass Hat Elder also spread out his spiritual sense and faintly nodded his head. Kill. The head of the Golden Sun family and the Grass Hat Elder turned into two streaks of light and charged down toward Zhao Feng and the black-robed woman. How dare you be so rude to the division leader? The black-robed woman shouted coldly. With a swoosh sound, her slender figure turned into a misty ripple-like shadow and greeted the two uninvited guests. What a weird movement skill. Zhao Feng's heart moved. In terms of speed, the black-robed woman was on par with him when he didn't use the wings of wind and lightning. On the other hand, the opponent's movement skill was extremely weird. It was as if she had merged into the world of darkness and twisted the light around her. Smoke-killing shadow. Ripples of illusory blades flashed through the air, accompanied by invisible killing intent, shooting towards the head of the Golden Sun family and the old man in the straw hat. Watch out. This woman uses the Tao of shadow killing. The Grass Hat Elder warned. Even though he was stronger than normal half-step origin core realms, he still revealed a cautious expression. Shua! Shua! Their surroundings were dark and gloomy. Killing shadows and illusory blades appeared one after another, and a few of them instantly brushed past the two of them. Shua! The head of the Golden Sun family's leg was hit by a blade, and he groaned in pain. If his reaction had been slightly slower, it wouldn't have just been a light injury. In a short instant, the head of the Golden Sun family and the Grass Hat Elder were both caught off guard. It wasn't that they weren't as strong as the black-robed woman. It was just that their attention was on Zhao Feng, and they ignored the black-robed woman. Three-eyed divine light, spatial destruction restriction. The head of the Golden Sun family roared as the third eye on his forehead shot out a wave of purple light that twisted the air. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Wherever the divine light passed by, the trees nearby were turned into dust. Bo. The misty blur that the black-robed woman had turned into was restricted by an invisible force. Her figure was instantly exposed, as if she had fallen into a swamp, and her speed decreased. Not good. The three-eyed divine light of the Golden Sun family. The black-robed woman's expression changed drastically, and a layer of smoke-like ripples rose from her body to resist the penetration and restraint of this spatial annihilation illusion in this area. However, the sacred eye of the Golden Sun family was once the strongest bloodline in the continent. How could it be broken so easily? Shua. The black-robed woman's body was almost frozen, and the misty blur around her started to fade, as if it was being dissolved by some kind of power. What a profound eye bloodline. This person is the head of the Golden Sun family? His usage of the three-eyed divine light has reached a godly level. If I had fought with him before, I wouldn't have been able to tell who would have won. Zhao Feng couldn't help but be moved. In terms of bloodline quality and purity, the head of the Golden Sun family wasn't as good as the three-eyed saint. However, the head of the Golden Sun family's eye bloodline was much stronger than the three-eyed saint's. Even normal half-step origin core realms might not be the head of the Golden Sun family's match. The black-robed woman, who specialized in the Tao of assassination, was stronger than Tianma, but she was completely suppressed at this moment. You're unlucky to meet the sacred eye of the Golden Sun family in the Tao of assassination. The head of the Golden Sun family's third eye released an even stronger eye bloodline power that restricted the black-robed woman and destroyed her defenses. The black-robed woman gritted her teeth unwillingly. Although her Tao was strong, it was easily countered by an eye bloodline, let alone the sacred eye bloodline of the former number one family. Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye was surrounded by a ball of lightning as he prepared to save the black-robed woman. Zhao Feng, your opponent is me. A hoarse voice came from above. Zhao Feng suddenly felt a pressure, as if a god of 10 million kilograms had descended from the sky. Silver Saint Demon Suppressing Technique. A pair of dazzling silver palms slammed down from the sky, drawing in the heaven-earth yuan qi within a radius of 100 miles. It was as if all of nature had become the source of its power. Half-step origin core realm? Or is it sovereign? Zhao Feng's heart jumped. The air around him seemed to be suppressed by a giant mountain of yuan qi. Normal True Lord ranks would find it hard to even move. On top of that, two cold silver crescent moons appeared in the grass hat elder's eyes and clashed with Zhao Feng's god's spiritual eye. He also had an eye bloodline. Even Lu Tianyi from the Purple Saint ruins wasn't this strong. Zhao Feng found it hard to breathe, and his expression was solemn. At this moment, his source of true spirit, God's spiritual eye, and bloodline power were all circulated to the maximum. If he didn't focus 120%, under normal situations, Zhao Feng might not even be able to fight the Grass Hat Elder without using the Ice Imperial Spear. At the same time, save me, the black-robed woman was suppressed by the three-eyed light, and her defense was about to break. No need to panic. They're just two bugs. Leave them to me. A mysterious voice seemed to come from the darkness. Shua. A layer of dark light, like a curtain of night falling from the sky, instantly enveloped a radius of 1/2 mile. It quickly spread out and even engulfed the entire forest. That's... The Grass Hat Elder and the head of the Golden Sun family froze. In the blink of an eye, they were surrounded by an endless darkness and felt as if they had stolen the sun. Unbeknownst to them, a tall figure wearing a crown had appeared above their heads. This shadow-like existence seemed to be the uncrowned king of the night. Sovereign, sovereign. The Grass Hat Elder revealed a look of fear as he felt the terrifying aura of the crowned figure. Shoo! Shoo! In the dark world, two cold shadow blades extended out without any warning and instantly pierced through their bodies. Blood splattered everywhere. Chapter 521. Under the sunlight, the dark forest seemed to be distorted by some kind of power. It was filled with dark shadows, like the expansion of the dark curtain of night. In the air, The bodies of the head of the Golden Sun family and the Grass Hat Elder were like dead loaches as they struggled. Shoo! In the darkness, two cold shadow blades pierced through their bodies without a sound or warning. The head of the Golden Sun family didn't even have the chance to dodge. His heart was pierced through, and his life force was instantly extinguished. The head of the Golden Sun family kept his head up and could barely see Elder Jishaw's figure. Plop! He fell into a puddle of blood, and his eyes were filled with fear, unwillingness, and confusion. Being killed without any warning. How angry was the head of the Golden Sun family? He didn't even know the opponent's name before he died. As for the other old man in the straw hat, his body barely shifted half an inch, but his chest was still pierced by the cold shadow blade, brushing past his heart. A sovereign of the Tao of assassination. Could you be the silent death sovereign from back then? The Grass Hat Elder's face was filled with fear as he coughed, and blood leaked out of his mouth. The only thing he could do was raise his head and look at the crowned shadow that had successfully assassinated him. On the other side, Zhao Feng stood still and suppressed the shock in his heart. This is the strength of an Origin Core Realm sovereign. It wasn't that Zhao Feng hadn't seen Origin Core Realm experts before. He had seen the true appearance of sovereigns in the Rising Dragon auction and the Sacred True Dragon gathering. The Iron Blood Religion Patriarch was also an Origin Core Realm sovereign. However, this was the first time he had seen the strength of a sovereign. The head of the Golden Sun family's strength is definitely comparable to a half-step Origin Core Realm. The Grass Hat Elder is even stronger and has an eye bloodline. Under normal circumstances, it would be hard for me to escape from the two of them. Zhao Feng couldn't calm down. He originally thought that his battle power was invincible against those below the Origin Core Realm, and that he should be able to fight back. From the looks of it, his estimation seemed to be a little off. Elder Jisha isn't an ordinary venerable. He cultivates the Shadow Assassination Tao. During the Crimson Moon era, he was responsible for assassinating some of the continent's peak experts, and a number of sovereigns who died at his hands was not small. In one of his most glorious moments, he participated in the assassination of venerable swordsman Yi Wuxie and almost succeeded. The skeletal division leader's voice sounded in his mind. The path of assassination. Zhao Feng was startled. It turned out that this Elder Jisha was not an ordinary primal core cultivator, but a venerate skilled in the assassination Tao. No wonder the head of the Golden Sun family couldn't detect Elder Jisha, even with his Sacred Eye bloodline. These two people were dealt with as easily as slicing carrots. Elder Jisha, I didn't expect you to have recovered the strength you had back then. You dealt with these two small fries rather quickly. Zhao Feng played it down and did not show any surprise. Two little shrimps? Hearing that, the expression of the black-robed female twitched weirdly. One of the people killed was the head of the strongest family in the continent, and the other one was very likely an elder of the Golden Sun family, whose strength surpassed normal half-step Origin Core realms. Of course, it was easy for Zhao Feng to say that, but if he really had to face these two, he would most likely run faster than a rabbit. Hall Master Yogu, if you recover your peak strength and use your soul energy secret art to control others, you will be on par with me. Elder Jisha wasn't surprised and didn't feel that Zhao Feng's words were arrogant. Division Leader Yogu, you're... The Grass Hat Elder's heart shook as he exclaimed. Helplessness, bitterness, and regret were written all over his face. If the two of them knew that their target was the former division leader of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion, they probably wouldn't dare to do anything even if they were given 100 guts. Plop. The Grass Hat Elder only lasted for a few breaths before dying. Elder Jisha specialized in the Tao of Slaughter. Even if he didn't hit the heart, he could still easily kill a half-step Origin Core realm. In just a few breaths, the head of the Golden Sun family and the Grass Hat Elder fell into a pool of blood. No one saw the process of them being killed or the trajectory of Elder Jisha's attack. Even Zhao Feng couldn't react in time. Shua. The dark shadow that covered this area suddenly faded away. Only Elder Terminator was left in the twisted shadow. Division Leader Yogu, how did you offend the Golden Sun family? I heard that you're in charge of a region in the northern continent. Elder Jisha landed next to Zhao Feng. Being so close to Elder Jisha made Zhao Feng feel a chill in his heart. His current situation was like walking on a tightrope on a precipice. Although Zhao Feng had already predicted that the one following him was most likely a sovereign, he still didn't know what to do. However, Elder Jisha wasn't a normal origin core realm. He specialized in assassination, and Zhao Feng wouldn't be able to fight back at all in front of him. Under this situation, Zhao Feng couldn't panic at all in case he gave himself away. At the same time, he warned the skeletal division leader that if it tried anything, he could kill it with just a thought. The skeletal division leader was very obedient. It knew that Zhao Feng could kill it faster than Elder Jisha could kill Zhao Feng. The situation in the northern continent isn't looking good. Zhao Feng sighed bitterly as he tried to choose the most general or ambiguous words from the skeletal division leader. With me guarding the middle continent, the pressure here is greater. Elder Jisha shook his head faintly. Zhao Feng also understood a bit of the situation from Elder Terminator. So, in the Scarlet Moon demonic religion's plan, the middle continent was the most important. Most of their experts were here. All of this was to deal with a powerful force, the Sacred Alliance. All right, there's a division leader in a large country nearby. Do you want to meet him? The Patriarch is also in the middle continent and will soon come out of seclusion. Elder Jisha's next words made Zhao Feng's heart jump. If he wasn't careful, he would enter the core of the Scarlet Moon demonic religion. When the Scarlet Moon Patriarch was also in the middle continent and they might meet, Zhao Feng had the urge to run away. Luckily, Zhao Feng's mentality was strong enough, and he couldn't panic or run away. I also want to meet the Patriarch. But there's still some mess in the northern continent that needs to be dealt with quickly or the consequences will be unimaginable. Furthermore, I need to recover my strength as soon as possible. Zhao Feng was helpless. Elder Jisha tried to get him to stay, but was rejected by Zhao Feng. Oh well, it's not wrong for you to look at the big picture. Elder Jisha didn't force him. After that, the two leaders of the Scarlet Moon demonic sect discussed some secret matters in private before bidding their farewells. In the entire process, Zhao Feng was walking on thin ice. If it wasn't for the fact that he had the Jade Dragon protection, he wouldn't have tried this plan. Half a month later, in Golden Sun's sacred city. So, an indescribably powerful aura pierced through the clouds and flew above Golden Sun sacred city. Who's there? The guard on the city tower saw a ball of dazzling light descending from the sky. That magnificent light was like a dazzling flash between heaven and earth, giving off a strong visual impact on one's soul. Is Zhao Feng here? The newcomer was a black-haired youth. His eyes were as deep as the sky. The youth stood with his hands behind his back, and his every action contained an indescribable intent that pierced through the soul. Zhao Feng? Many experts on the city walls and within Golden Sun's sacred city were alarmed. The aura of the newcomer was too strong. His strength and confidence seemed to be able to destroy everything. It's him, Yu Tianhao, someone exclaimed as they recognized the black-haired youth. The Golden Sun's sacred city instantly broke out into chaos. It's him, the invincible, overwhelming prodigy king. We just sent away that nightmare half a month ago, and now another one has come. The members of the Golden Sun family all felt a trace of helplessness. Half a month ago, Zhao Feng had swept the tea party, defeated the Three-Eyed Saint, and took the title of the strongest eye bloodline in the continent. This was a heavy blow to the Golden Sun family. And now, an overwhelming prodigy king who was on par with Zhao Feng had come, Yu Qianhao. In terms of fame, Yu Qianhao was even above Zhao Feng before the tea party. This was because Yu Qianhao had come first in the last Sacred True Dragon Gathering. Even in the recent Sacred True Dragon Gathering, Zhao Feng wasn't able to beat Yu Qianhao. Yu Qianhao, the tea party has ended. An enraged voice came from Golden Sun Sacred City. Shua, a golden-haired young man with a body as sharp as a knife and a closed eye on his forehead, appeared in the sky. The newcomer was the Three-Eyed Saint. Ever since he lost last time, The three-eyed saint hadn't been in a good mood, and no one dared to offend him. At least a dozen people had died from the three-eyed saint's anger. Therefore, when the three-eyed saint appeared, everyone in the Golden Sun sacred city became silent, afraid that the saint would take his anger out on them if they did anything wrong. The three-eyed saint obviously didn't have a good expression when he saw Yu Tianhao. Originally, his only opponent for the tea party was Yu Tianhao, but Yu Tianhao didn't even come. In the end, the three-eyed saint lost, and his father disappeared. The anger in his heart couldn't be vented. "You're the three-eyed saint." Yu Tianhao's eyes twinkled. He seemed to know the name of the youth in front of him. The three-eyed saint snorted coldly. "Yu Tianhao, the True Dragon Tea Party is over. Do you think I'm easy to bully now that you've come to Golden Sun Sacred City to challenge me after Zhao Feng?" "No." Yu Tianhao shook his head and said, "Tea party? Not interested. I'm here to find Zhao Feng. He's my only opponent." Hearing that, the three-eyed saint's anger that had just calmed down almost exploded. Preposterous. He was too arrogant. Zhao Feng, one of the two overwhelming prodigies, came to Golden Sun's sacred city with a humble attitude. As for this person, he was simply extremely conceited and arrogant. Does anyone know where Zhao Feng went? Yu Tianhao scanned the crowd. However, no one dared to answer him. They were afraid of being affected by the three-eyed saint's anger. Yu Tianhao didn't stay at all. He turned around and murmured to himself, "Then I'll go to the Canopy Great Country." You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.